The following podcast contains explicit language
and spicy takes
that may not be suitable for all listeners. Viewer discretion is advised. I'm the Doctor.
And I'm the Companion.
And this is Dango Who?
Welcome back to our podcast.
Our Dango Duo Doctor Who podcast. Try saying that 10 times fast.
Where we're going to be talking about every single episode of New Who.
Yep, including Torchwood.
Yeah, so if you missed the first episode, it should be on the channel. We're doing a companion series to that where we're basically ranking every Doctor Who episode
against
on a tier
each
list.
other.
Against each other.
Yeah, so that also went up at some point before this video, so check that out too to see the compressed version of what we thought of each episode of the first season of Doctor Who.
Absolutely.
The first series, as they call it in Britain. Their series is not seasons. This time we're going to be talking about Season 2, which is the first season featuring David Tennant as the Doctor.
The 10th Doctor,
as the 10th Doctor. So we're going to kind of start off with like a broad overview of like our general thoughts, and then we're going to go episode by episode.
Yep.
So first off, I just want to ask you, is this your first time seeing any David Tennant in Doctor Who? Because we had watched some of Eccleston before, many years prior, but this is your first time seeing episodes of Tennant in the Doctor role. What did you think about our first season with Tennant?
Well, first off, I want to say that I don't think there's any way that I could have come into this completely clean. I feel like David Tennant as a Doctor is kind of this part of the cultural zeitgeist where, I didn't know anything about Doctor Who, but I knew that Tennant was the Doctor in one point or another.
Yeah.
And he also plays the character for like 3 seasons, 4 seasons?
3 seasons and a couple specials.
Yeah, so I knew the look.
Yeah.
I knew what he looked like, and I remember seeing him in that one Harry Potter movie.
The 4th one.
Before Harry Potter died. So, as a franchise. Spoilers for the last book.
Right. Technically.
It's weird coming from Eccleston, because there's a little bit of interplay. Like he's doing that thing where he's doing a little bit of Eccleston his own way, and he's carrying the character.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come out and say it, that he's kind of, like, perfect as the Doctor.
Yeah.
He really, like, encapsulates the Doctor in this particular time in his story. And especially after Season 2, when we come back for Season 3. We're a little bit ahead of the curve, but
We're currently in Season 3 at the moment.
But
timeline-wise.
We're doing it that way so that we can, one, just get the episodes done so that they're gonna come out. And also to give us time because, this is something that we're doing on the side.
And also spoilers.
And also spoilers. But again, like, knowing where he's gonna go, and also this gives us the power to be able to know things that are coming, so we can reflect on these episodes with more depth than just we watched them and here's what we thought.
Yeah. Because it doesn't exist media doesn't exist in a vacuum, especially when you can go back to older seasons and then the trajectory going forward. For example, Lost.
Yeah.
Maybe one day. I'll make you watch it one day.
We'll see.
It's only like 5 seasons.
I gotta get up really early in the morning to want to watch a show about random people who don't matter every other episode.
I was about to say, it wasn't a Doctor Who episode, it was just us watching a YouTube video about the Dan referencing Lost.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck?
It was so weird.
Anyway.
But anyhow, David Tennant is perfect as the Doctor. He's really good at the whole, like, technobabble, just, like, spewing, like, a bunch of random terms in a row.
Yeah.
He just does that perfectly, and honestly, I really like him, and it feels different than with Eccleston, because I also like Eccleston, but
it's a very different Doctor.
But Eccleston only has 12 episodes, and I know that there's, like, several seasons with Tennant, and I'm settling in, I'm getting comfortable.
Yeah. Get comfy. It's gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah.
This season also introduces Torchwood as its own, like, entity and stuff. This is the general, overarching plot line throughout this season.
Torchwood.
What did you think about the setup of Torchwood pre-ever watching a episode of the actual show Torchwood?
Again, it's one of those weird things where I don't exist in a vacuum. I had heard of Torchwood before, and you told me about it before, little tidbits here and there, and my memory is to the point where I attach myself to little things that I hear, so I'm like, what about this thing that you told me hasn't come true?
Wait a minute.
Am I misremembering? Probably not. But I must admit, first off, that Torchwood logo fucking sucks.
It's so dumb.
That's the lamest fucking possible logo it could be.
It's not great.
And it's one of those things where, like, again, like, I wanted a little bit more.
It's very vague of a setup.
But I mean, again, as a setup for like something that's running in the background, and especially if you were watching episode to episode, you would be like, oh my god, what's Torchwood about?
What the heck is this?
Also, would you mind telling them the little tidbit about where Torchwood even comes from?
Oh, yeah. So, in case you don't know, the word Torchwood is actually an anagram for Doctor Who. It was originally
the code name.
The code name for Doctor Who, as this is a series that had been long running in Britain and had a brief hiatus, basically. And they didn't want everyone to know, hey, we're making Doctor Who right now, because people would go fucking bananas. Yeah. So they categorized it under the codename Torchwood, and that name kind of stuck when they needed some other entity that they wanted to play with, which eventually became its own show. So that's where the word Torchwood comes from, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Again, like, as an overarching plot, I like it. Especially like it because it comes back. It's one of those things where, like there's a payoff at the end for that, and it changes things. It takes them into a better direction. The worst kind of overarching plot is the one that, like, it's encapsulated only in this season and it carries no consequences. And it's one of those, like, sitcom thing where, like, at the start of the next episode, the whole universe resets and we never have to worry about Torchwood ever again.
We never talk about Torchwood ever again.
That's not the case.
That is absolutely not the case. In fact, in the first episode of season 3, we talk about Torchwood again.
Yeah, so I like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. And, especially considering how it gave us the Torchwood franchise as a spin-off to Doctor Who, I like that. Yeah. Honestly, especially, next episode, we're going to be talking about Torchwood Season 1.
We are.
So look forward to that.
Yeah. And I don't want to talk too much about Rose's storyline getting to the end of Rose's storyline, but were you happy with, like, how Rose's progress in this season went? Is this her last season as the companion?
I want to say it. I'm not going to second guess myself. I just want to fucking say it. Russell T. Davies did a fucking fantastic job at making it feel as though this first 2 seasons were Rose's story.
Yeah.
And it ends, in such a way that is effective, and it wraps everything up, and everybody... Because it's one of those things where, like, Rose's story is attached to Mickey and Jackie. And Pete. And had it ended in a way in which... And when you remind me of Pete, I'm like, Rose's story ties up so neatly to the point where, like, Season 1 of Doctor Who felt like a first draft. It felt like 1.5. Like, there were things
There's a
here
lot
and
of good things there, but...
they did really good with what they had. This, to me, really, especially the conclusion, feels very much like a second and third and fourth draft, where, like, and everything, like, basically...
Everything fits.
And everything fits. And the difference, and I have to make this very clear, because someone's going to be like, but you said a bad overarching theme is the one where it ends and there's no more consequences. There are consequences to this. Things end in a nice, needly way, but the consequences carry on.
Yeah.
And also, it was sad, but it was also very satisfying to see the conclusion of Rose's story. And the fact that I can say, this was Rose's arc.
Yes. 100%.
And I really like that. And we're already seeing season 3, and there's consequences to that. And that right there, that's good storytelling. And
if you really miss Rose, she will come back in very, very minuscule ways. So
yeah, I know that there's some crossover episodes.
Yeah. So
isn't there one with Jack Harkness? or no, like later on, like with like the fucking 12th Doctor or whatever, or
with
like,
the 12th, no,
or the 11th Doctor, 11.
I don't believe that Moffat's Doctor Who crosses with Davies'
That's weird.
Doctor Who really much a lot.
Weird.
Jack Harkness's storyline essentially completes during David Tennant's line.
Somber tone, but okay. Do you have any more questions for me before we move on into the episodes proper?
I don't think so. I think it's just time to start the episodes.
All right, well, let's get to it.
Episode 0, The Christmas Special, The Christmas Invasion, written by Russell T. Davies, that aired on Christmas 2005. This is the first episode of David Tennant as the new Doctor dealing with the repercussions of regenerating, literally dying and coming back to life, essentially. And some new aliens coming to invade on Christmas Day.
And this gives us a really nice little introduction to David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. What I really like about this episode, and we're doing the description at the same time, is that Tennant spent about 99% of the episode in his pajamas asleep.
In his PJs, regenerating.
And I like that. And then at the end of the episode, we actually get because this is a longer episode, I think.
I think it might be an hour long.
Yeah. So by the end of the episode, we get like Tennant actually, wakes up and is ready to go, and we get to see how he's different from the other Doctor, from Eccleston.
Yeah.
And he's definitely more gun-ho. He's a little bit more... aggressive escalates a little bit faster.
Yeah.
And we see him as he duels another alien and
gets his hand chopped off, but it's okay.
Yeah.
He's still regenerating.
Yeah, he's still regenerating.
Grows it back. No biggie.
And overall, of course, he saves the day.
Yep.
And he manages to come out of his little slump thanks to the power of cup of tea.
Cup of tea. Jackie's cup of tea.
And that's our Christmas special for new 10th Doctor.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about the fucking Santas and how I told you Christmas trees are the villain of this episode.
Yeah, and I was like, that can't be right. The worst
it comes back.
I
honestly don't like that it comes back.
No. Okay.
Let's go.
I don't mind that the Christmas tree as a trope as a weapon comes back a season later.
Yeah,
I don't mind that.
It's actually different, to be fair.
What I mind is that it's the exact
the same plastic
they juke
Santas.
Because they look. It's like, are they the exact same Santas? And that's never addressed. Why they look just like the Santas from last time.
Yeah.
That to me, if there was an explanation for that, I would be okay with it. But that's not this episode.
Yeah, no. But yeah, no, this episode, we get a lot more just like Rose and her family. Rose, Mickey, and Jackie all, working together because the Doctor's a little indisposed of at the moment, so...
Isn't this the episode where the aliens are like, we're gonna make a third of the population commit suicide?
Yes, that is the episode where they happening it up.
Yeah, the happening it up, yeah.
where they try to make everybody commit suicide.
Yep.
Or all people with type A blood type.
Yes,
because they control the blood, which the Doctor reveals is just like you can't override somebody's survival instinct, which is it's common.
So it was just a juke.
Yeah, it was all a juke. Yeah. I am gonna go out and say it. I don't like the end of this episode.
I was hoping when we were going to get to this, because this episode ends with Torchwood and
Harriet Jones,
and
Prime Minister.
Basically, Torchwood shoots beams into the sky and destroys the aliens who were already fleeing.
Yeah, because the Doctor was like, you got to leave these guys alone.
And that's not actually what I dislike.
I don't dislike that either.
What I dislike the most is actually
how Harriet Jones gets
how Harriet Jones basically gets fucked at the end of this episode.
Yeah, and I hate that there's a little bit of sexism in there.
There's a little bit of
doesn't she look tired?
There's more than a little sexism because we literally not to bring us back to 2016, but that was literally the arguments against a woman being in a position of power.
Yeah,
and that's the one thing where I'm it
rubs me so wrong.
I understand the purpose of that scene is to show that the Doctor is not okay with. What Torchwood did because they were fleeing. Although, I feel like the Doctor is a very hypocritical character at several
sometimes,
times.
Yes, but depending on who's writing him.
But I understand that. But the purpose of that scene was to be the Doctor shows his that he is not going to stand for it, and that
he's not going to suicide,
and he's going to show that our human government and ideas are very easily destroyed by equally pitiful ideas. And I get that. I just wish it hadn't been tinged with sexism in there. I wish it hadn't been also I have trouble believing that just because there's a rumor about Harriet Jones suddenly
she's she's losing popularity in the polls and everyone is asking her about it.
To me, that's not good writing.
No.
And it's slightly when we get to Torchwood, there is one line that is very much clearly transphobia, and I could totally feel Jack Harkness or John Barrowman trying to not make it transphobia, and it breaks my heart because I'm like, the director fucked you over, the writer fucked you over, and now John Barrowman has to have a line that is basically full on transphobia,
a little bit transphobic,
in a show that's about being queer
as fuck.
That to me is a failure in all departments other than the actor, because he's trying to sell it. And in here again, I've been dreading talking about this because this season has the best episode of Doctor Who ever.
Yeah, and one of the worst.
But that ending,
I hate it with every fiber of my being, because before we've only had 2 episodes with Harriet Jones and they were amazing, and she's shown that she's capable, that she understands the position of the government and what her role in it is, and she's resourceful and clever, and because she did one bad thing. The next time we see her, she did one bad thing, and now she's out of power, which actually kind of leads to the setup of season 3. So there you go, you bugged her.
I just wish it hadn't been oh, doesn't she look tired? And I'm I wish it'd been a rumor, like, people spread as, like, those aliens were fleeing. Why did we shoot them, Harry Jones? Like,
why didn't he just tell them the truth?
Yeah, why did we do that? Why did we, like, we had already won, we had already, like, we were free. Why did we go out of our way to be cruel and continue to
perpetuate the colonialism
and the cycle of violence? Why do we keep doing that, Harry Jones? Yeah. But instead it has to be fucking sexism. And welcome back to Dango Duo. In case you missed us being angry about fiction and bad writing, here we are again. It's a little bit easier because this is not as bad as
some of the shit we
99% of anime. And if that makes you angry, fucking liking anime is not a substitute for having a personality.
Ayo.
Anyhow, I burnt out so fucking bad on anime because it's so bad. And I love fiction. And what we do here at Dango Duo is that we pinpoint the good in fiction and the bad in fiction. And the Christmas special falters so bad at the end that it soured it for me because
the rest of the episode is fun. We get to see Mickey stopping missiles I know that's actually later. But
I like that Jackie ends up being the one who
saves the day.
And it ends up being this kind of tongue-in-cheek thing where it's like, it was the tea that did it. He just needed a cup of tea.
Yeah, but very British.
But it has to fucking have. We have to knock down a woman in power off of that for
reasons. For sexism reasons.
For internalized misogyny. I don't know.
We couldn't pay Harriet Jones. I don't fucking know.
Like, I understand. We want to prove that what she did was wrong. Why do we have to
do it in that way?
Why do we have to do it in that way? Anyhow.
Anyway, otherwise a fun episode, but God, that ending sours it so bad.
It's just the kind of thing where I'm like, how's the writing? What was the writing room like? You know, where I'm like, this
is how we explain.
This is how we explain.
She is no longer fit for power.
Yeah. Even though she was the one who was supposed to lead, the UK into its next golden age, but never mind that. Anyhow, writing room and stuff.
And I don't know if they were thinking as far ahead as to the season 3 finale, because the setup of season 3 has to do with a new prime minister essentially. Yeah. We haven't really gotten there in our watching, but I don't think they were thinking that far ahead to get Harriet Jones out so that we could set up season 3. I don't think that was the case, to be honest. Yeah. So it just feels kind of out of nowhere.
Yep, it also feels mean-spirited, which I never like, especially for a character who we were cheering for up until literally 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So, there is that. The Christmas invasion, I'm gonna fucking say it, okay? Yeah. It would be a pretty good episode if it didn't end on such a downer and
such a sour note.
And so tinged with fucking sexism in there. Like, come on. Do you have... my entire thing is if that had been a man in a position of power... that scene wouldn't make any sense.
No.
It would just be like,
doesn't he look tired?
Yeah, doesn't he look tired? And they'll be like, who cares?
Yeah.
Literally, who fucking gives a fucking...
He's the fucking prime minister, who gives a shit?
Exactly, and that only shows the ways in which we expect different things of different people based on their gender, identity, and presentation.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Dango Duo.
Rants about gender.
It's too early. Fucking make a cup of coffee. Yeah. Sit down.
Make some tea.
I hope you're having fun drawing, reading, going to bed. I hope we're not too real.
We're not yelling at you as you go to bed. I bet
someone fucking goes to bed listening to this.
Listen, I used to, go to bed with listening to angry white guys. I'm mostly talking about Nostalgia Critic.
I really feel like you couldn't have framed that in a worst way possible.
That's kind of why I said it.
Used to, not anymore.
Nah.
Not after he died in the war. Anyhow, moving on to the next one?
Let's just get to the next one. Episode 1, New Earth, written by Russell T Davies, that aired originally on April 15th, 2006. It's a brand new year.
It's a brand new Earth.
And
it's funny, because we just watched the episode that follows the implications of this one.
It's actually hilarious. So...
In this episode,
the Doctor takes Rose to New Earth, and New York, which is
New New York.
New New York, which is actually the 15th New York, and you can
be like
put as many New
York.
Yep. Because there's been a distress signal sent out by the face of Bo, who is sick at the moment.
Yeah.
So they go visit the hospital. Our favorite lump of skin shows up, Cassandra, and her weird little manservant.
Hey, let's not talk about that. So during this episode, we have
cat nurses.
Yep, and we have Cassandra inside of Rose. So we have Billie Piper performing as Cassandra controlling Rose.
Yes. And then later she goes into the doctor and,
And then we have a really real episode about a pandemic.
Yes, a little too real in these trying times, in these uncertain times.
Yeah, in these uncertain times.
Yeah.
This episode, of course, injects us with a little something to look forward to in regards to the face of Bo.
Yes, this is not the last time we will meet him.
And cat people.
And cat people.
And
cat nurses.
This episode ends with the end of Cassandra.
Yes.
The last human.
For real this time,
for real this time. And that's it.
Yeah. The cat people were manufacturing diseases so that they could cure all the diseases, and that didn't work out very well. I'm going to tell you that much.
It's a very science fiction-y kind of setup.
Yes.
It's that kind of, and
we can cure all the diseases by having a host of people have all of the diseases, and then we just manifest it from there.
I don't know how much I want to say, but I feel to me like that's a really easy psychopath check. It's like, if you think that this is something that is ultimately a good idea,
you should probably check your privilege.
If the idea that I don't mind a bunch of disenfranchised people suffering,
dying to 10,000 diseases at once.
Yeah, anyone who's the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few,
or
should ask whether why you're privileged to be part of the many. But
or if you're saying medicine / the economy is more important than living, fucking yeet.
Yeah, yeet yourself.
Yeet yourself.
Anyhow, welcome back to Too Real with Dango Duo in the morning. Did you make coffee? You should get up and make some coffee. What do you put in your coffee? I have mine just black because I have a dark soul.
I know.
And you were going to fill it with light, but I'm still waiting on that. Anyhow.
Excuse me?
I'm feeling very snappy today, mostly because I'm not going to lie to you, okay? Mm-hmm. I had repressed my feelings about the Christmas invasion.
Yeah. No, it's such a sour pit in my stomach when I think about it. So I can't leave it.
And once those feelings resurfaced, also the transphobic comment in Torchwood resurfaced, and I'm like I fucking hate that there always has to be a but. I'm waiting for the show that I can just be you're fucking amazing and awesome. Mm-hmm. And my hero's almost there, but Mineta exists and Momo's design is terrible. So I'm just ugh.
There's always something.
There's always fucking something. But anyhow, that's why we create fiction as well as consume it. Mm-hmm. But New Earth is a science fiction-y episode, and it does its things, and honestly, Cassandra...
It's got some great acting.
Yeah, there's some great acting in the part of Cassandra being inside of Rose.
Yes, Rose. Billie Piper, getting a new accent, essentially, doing that, and there's always that famous gif of the doctor being like, ooh, my tush, or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's a famous gif. There's a lot of, good moments in this episode. Honestly, I think this is a pretty solid episode. There's nothing super special. I love the cat nurses.
Yeah, you do, and honestly, it's really good makeup.
Yeah, no,
it's very believable
it's kind
and
of incredible.
And I like that it comes back later.
Yeah, they come back. Cat.
I don't know how I feel about the servant.
No, the man-servant thing is weird, and then, he ends up giving his life to Cassandra.
Yeah, and, that's the one thing where we don't
talk about the fact that he only lives a couple of years.
Yeah.
His existence is to serve a white lady.
We'll talk about the Ood in a minute.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the Ood in a minute. But definitely...
And by a minute, I mean an hour.
And how do you feel about the ending? We see Cassandra and
Cassandra.
And Cassandra talking with each other, and we get a nice little moment where someone compliments Cassandra finally for once.
I kind of like it, but I also kind of feel like it's really manufactured. It's manufactured to make us feel oh.
Yeah, and it's a thing where, suddenly Cassandra's dying now, and I'm it definitely, I will agree that it feels a little manufactured. When you look at the whole thing as a whole, this is a completely serviceable episode.
Yes, it is totally fine, right in the middle. Nothing real bad, nothing, real good, but, honestly solid, I would think. And I do like that, as far as I know, this is the end of Cassandra. So this is the only time she comes back.
Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. The fact that Doctor Who actually has a plot thread that ends, and an antagonist that ends. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to have new antagonists that are not the Dalek and the Cybermen, because Oh, I forgot the Cybermen are this season.
The Cybermen were introduced again in this season.
I'm gonna say it right now. Yeah. I'm fucking tired of Daleks and Cybermen.
You only had 4 episodes of Cybermen, and you're already
I'm actually okay. In how many ways can you defeat the Dalek and keep it interesting? Because I'm already kind of done. But anyhow, we'll talk about. I actually can't. Okay, we'll talk more when we get there. But it's just Doctor Who it's science fiction. You have the entirety of creation in your mind. You can come up with whatever you want. Make a new antagonist.
Yeah.
I'm bored of Daleks already. They're just cans. I get it. They're just cans. Anyhow.
Anyway.
I'm more mad because I'm like several seasons in advance already, and I'm like, oh my god,
we're still dealing with Daleks.
I'm like, the stinger of the episode that's coming up is the Daleks are back, and I'm like, it's been 4 episodes without Daleks.
We know, we get it.
And anyhow.
Anyway,
you get it.
Completely fine.
Also, I would say that it's definitely a must-watch for the plot, because this is going to follow into season 3.
And we get a little bit more of the face of Bo to saying that his secrets will be revealed to a traveler with his dying breath.
Yep. Which, unlike a lot of things that get set up in media, this actually happens.
Pays off.
That's what we call foreshadowing, kids.
It's true.
Next episode?
Let's go. Episode 2, Tooth and Claw, written by Russell T. Davies, which aired originally on April 22nd, 2006. Werewolves
and monks.
And strange monks that worship werewolves?
In Victorian England.
With the Queen. Elizabeth.
Yep.
Elizabeth?
No, it's Victoria. It was Victoria.
I don't fucking remember.
No, because Elizabeth is like way
it is Queen Victoria.
Yep,
yeah.
fucking nailed it. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Queen. So this is the episode with werewolves that takes place in the past. This episode follows the Doctor and Rose in the past dealing with werewolves.
Yes.
And it ultimately leads to the creation of Torchwood.
An entity set up to
protect the British people from
the Great British Empire from enemies beyond the stars, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It also implies that the royal family are all werewolves.
Oh yeah, yeah. I feel like I remember seeing gift sets of that.
Yeah,
and that's funny.
It's kind of funny.
Do you have anything to say about this episode? I feel like it's a really straightforward one.
The one thing, and I remember even thinking back when I first watched this with a group of friends, being like, "What the fuck are up with the monks?"
Yeah,
there's a whole like karate. It's probably not karate. It's probably like judo or taekwondo scene at the beginning where they all fight like a bunch of. What's happening?
It really felt to me like we need a stinger for the next episode. So just like it felt like a very Glee thing where I'm like he's just a random thing. It's just like and they're like shot like they're. It's portrayed to be like Shaolin monks, and they're just flying in the air, throwing punches and kicks like they're a fucking like 5th level monk in D&D.
Yeah,
and I'm just
really the whole thing is about the fucking werewolf.
It's about the werewolf, and it feels a little aimless.
Yes.
Like the werewolf. The thing with the werewolf itself that's interesting, and I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea that like there's a mystery of like the father who built the thing built it so that when the day came that a werewolf came
would actually be there, and Queen Victoria would be there.
A mechanism to destroy him.
Yeah, exactly.
And I appreciate that. I think that's cute.
And I like that the mechanism ends up involving a priceless, English artifact, essentially British artifact.
Yeah, and that's fine. I feel like if I had to summarize this episode, I would say that it's fine.
It's fine.
It's a fine episode. It's the Russell T Davies required episode in the old-timey times that happens right at the beginning of the season.
Usually happens episode 2 to 3.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing that Russell T Davies does.
Yeah.
And the BBC, they need to use all those historical costumes, so there you go.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Were you surprised by the ending at all? In that she fucking knights them and is like, leave England, never come back.
I liked it. I liked it because it was unexpected.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like that the theme of the royal family seeing the Doctor as their mortal enemy coming back later. Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
It's cute.
It's cute.
And that is when something unexpected happens and that carries repercussions across that feels nuanced, then I like it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And you would think that, like, the royal family would know the Doctor and would be like, oh, yes, it's the man from the future who has helped us create our great British Empire. But instead they're like, get out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
I banished thee.
Also, Rose put some clothes on.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
A girl in her undergarments, essentially.
Yeah, it's one of the things about time travel where, like, I like that they have to address that Rose is dressed the way that she is. I think she was wearing overalls.
Yeah, she was just wearing overalls and, like, some tights and, like, a shirt.
Yeah, like a shirt.
And they were like, whoa! Too scantily dressed.
No, it's a pretty fine episode.
It's a perfectly passable episode.
And that's it.
And werewolves, man.
Moving right along.
Episode 3, School Reunion, written by Toby Whithouse, and which originally aired on April 29th, 2006.
Sorry, I just realized what episode we're talking about to next, and my mind's just fucking falling apart. But anyhow, School Reunion!
School Reunion, a nice episode where we get the return of companion from the 4th Doctor, Sarah Jane Smith.
I thought it was the 6th.
It says right here on the 4th.
Oh, well, there you but thank you,
Thank you,
Wikipedia man.
And K9, our little tin dog.
Yeah, a little tin dog. And then we learned that Mickey is a tin dog.
Mickey believes himself to be the tin dog.
So in this episode, there's some weird stuff happening at a school, and the Doctor and Rose go undercover to find out what's going on. And Mickey. And they learn that it was ultimately weird vampire aliens.
They're like absorbing aliens who absorb all the good, the Krillonite? Krillonite.
Yes, and their plan was to use the knowledge of these kids to have them solve the time equation to become lords of time and space.
Yeah, and then K9 kills them all.
Yep, and sorry, I just remember that K9 basically has a gun.
He has an affirmative.
So
I fucking love K9. He's great.
I just want to get to that moment in Torchwood where Jack Harkness jumps out of a car with the gun and fixes the problem. And I'm like, why can't Jack Harkness just... Why can't... I mean, I guess the K9 solved it in the Jack Harkness way, where it's just like...
affirmative.
Pew! Pew, 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 pew.
He only did one large explosion, but still. Fucking love K9. So this was a really exciting episode back in the day, because Sarah Jane Smith had not been on the show since... 1976.
Yeah.
So everyone was like, yo, it's Sarah Jane Smith. She actually got a spin-off show from this.
Like a web series, is what we're
saying. A
saying.
little web series with her and K9, and I think her daughter, something. I never watched it, so I can't really say.
I mean, maybe we will watch it.
Attempt to find it.
We'll see.
She has unfortunately passed since then, so this episode is a little sadder than it used to be.
A little.
Yeah, because it's like one of those things like, she says goodbye to the Doctor, and I believe we may see her again in Doctor Who for the final big reunion that everyone has, but I'm not 100% sure. But it is a little sad to say goodbye to Sarah Jane Smith, essentially.
Yeah. Now, aside from all the alien-y stuff, this episode, I don't know how I feel about it.
That's fair.
Because it has this bit about basically how the Doctor is ultimately just dragging young women for his company.
Yeah.
And the thing that gets me is that Sarah Jane Smith, at least she's directed to perform the character as though she shared a very intimate romantic relationship with the 4th Doctor, who is a man who was 3 times her age.
Wasn't the 4th Doctor Scarf Man?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
well, she was much younger.
I remember then she
still.
was 14.
Yeah.
So that's the she wasn't 14. No. But it's the thing where I feel like we talk about it, but we don't really talk about the implications of this girl who's half the age as this guy, and the fact that the Doctor keeps doing this over and over and over again, and that's a pattern, man. So it's the kind of I guess I'm happy that we didn't just ignore it.
The fact that he's
but it is a little uncomfortable when Sarah Jane Smith is very much
fighting Rose.
No, well, she absolutely 100% was directed to perform it as though she had a romantic, and I don't even want to say sexual relationship with the previous Doctor. And I know someone is yelling at the screen right now.
Yeah.
But I'm
listen, we're not gonna watch 50 years of
no. I mean, someone is like, how dare you talk about the idea that the Doctor has had sex with anyone? But I know you're rolling your eyes so hard. But it's just the direction there felt very intimate, and she definitely seemed hurt that the Doctor left her. And then now the Doctor has, another, sexy,
another young, sexy thing.
Pretty young thing.
And Rose Tyler's literally 19 in universe.
Yeah, so it's
a little uncomfortable.
And then the Doctor does this again with other young women. So to me, and I understand that someone in the comments is going to be like, well, they have to do the Ash thing, where Ash needs to have new female companions for eye candy, but I feel like that's just the continual objectification of women and sexualization of women. So I'm like, we don't have to do that.
We don't have to.
We don't have,
I do appreciate that, they aren't overtly treated as sexual objects most of the time.
No, they are not, and that's because it's a family picture.
It's a family picture.
But definitely,
the fact that this conversation even comes up is one of those things that's
and I feel like every time, and this keeps happening, and it probably will continue happening until, I don't know, yes, there's the Doctor, and there's the companion, and they are different presenting genders, so they have to kiss.
They have to share some sort of
They
bond.
have to kiss!
And I feel like in these first 2 seasons, which is about Rose's story, it feels very natural, organic, very brought on, by their own chemistry. And it will, the dynamic will change between the companions. And we'll talk about this when we get to Martha, but I feel like they really shortchange Martha in this respect because the Doctor is dealing with Rose Tyler no longer being with him in season 3.
And she definitely feels like rebound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we're watching Martha right now.
We're watching Martha right now.
So it's again, like, this is just the stuff that I talk about writing all the time, where it's just like, I just wish that they don't have to end up together just because they happen to be two people of opposing presenting genders on the screen. And it also, because it creates a thing where it's like why does the Doctor keep picking pretty young things as his companions?
Pretty young, usually white girls.
What does that say? What does that say about his character? And what does that say about his personality? And
then there's also the fact marketing.
Yeah, like, I know this is a tangled mess of courts, and I get that.
And it's not just one thing.
But
the fact that they brought it up is another.
But I feel like that's why you have to talk about this in the writing room and be like, well, what the hell does this say, though? And if you're like, who cares? Well, that's just how much you care about fiction and what you're actually saying. You know? Like I'll say this right now, okay? It takes no work. It takes 0 work to write an incompetent episode. Good writing takes a lot of work, and you have to ask these things.
You have to ask these tough questions.
And as I'm watching the episode, I felt a little uncomfortable at the fact that, like, the Doctor basically keeps going through young women.
Yeah, and leaving them, abandoning them or something.
And I'm sure that, like, you know, who fucking wrote, was this? No, this wasn't Russell T. Davies.
No, this is some
Toby Whithouse, which is another old white guy. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that, like, as older men, they definitely like the idea of just continuing to go through young women.
Not really thinking about
what that implies or anything. Yeah. And, you know, as we're getting too deep, but it's just as people, you and I, who consume true crime, we know that never ends well. And most importantly, older men do kind of prey on younger women because
they're vulnerable. They will put up with their shit, as opposed to older women who have been through this and will not put up with their shit.
There you go.
Anyway, what about that one kid who didn't eat the chips and saved the day?
Yeah, you know, it's just I like that the solution to the plot was basically not using alternative oils. Alternative
no,
oils.
The solution to the plot was ram the car into the school.
And
then have the tin dog shoot some oil.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'll admit that I didn't really like Mickey in season 1.
That's fair.
I felt like he was kind of an add-on.
He's very, like, not babified, but babyfied, but he is, like, you know, he's like this coward, this, like, you know, who has to stand up and act, but he still, like, hides behind Rose, essentially.
And I do have to say that, like, Mickey, like, wowed me at the end of season 1.
Yes.
Where he actually has his mini character where he decides that he's going to help Rose, even if it means that he's no longer with her. That he's no longer with her. Now, during this whole season, Mickey got
this episode.
And in this episode, Mickey gets so fucking good. Because in this episode, we have Mickey being like, what, am I the fucking team dog?
And he finally, you know, comes to the decision, hey, I want to travel with you guys. Yeah. You know, I want to see everything that's out there, too.
And that's great.
Yeah.
And that's especially where the other places that we're going to in this season, I'm gonna be honest, you know, there came a point in the season where Mickey walked into the screen and I'm like, hell yeah!
It's Mickey!
Hell yeah! And I'm punching the fucking sky because Mickey shows up.
Yeah.
And that's
good character.
That shows that I grew attached to the character and that the writing was effective. And, you know, this is, again, aside from the one thing, this is ultimately a pretty harmless episode. And
pretty good. Like, you know, a lot of people were really excited to see an old companion in K9, who was basically a mascot character in and of himself.
Yeah, and K9 has a gun. So
K9 has a gun for
again, no offense to the Doctor, but I just feel like if he had a 9mm Beretta, he could fix a lot more problems, you know?
You're not wrong.
The Doctor pulls out a gun. It's a time gun.
Affirmative.
Okay, affirmative.
And then K9 dies, but he gets brought back literally 5 seconds later.
5 seconds later, yeah. So, I know that we're stalling because we don't want to talk about the girl in the fireplace, but do you want to talk about the girl in the fireplace?
Let's just get it over with. Episode 4, The Girl in the Fireplace, written by Stephen Moffat, which originally aired May 6, 2006.
On the day before your birthday.
The day before my birthday.
Yay, everybody get hyped. We're going to talk about the girl.
This episode's actually inspired by a novel, but that doesn't make it any better.
I don't fucking care. So this is the time traveler's wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well,
God,
great. This episode is even less inspired.
Original. So in this episode, the crew, which now includes Mickey.
No.
Well,
so remember, this episode is about, this show's about the time doctor who goes to time and space, right? No, this episode is about a girl in Victorian era France, and her romance with a mysterious stranger. It's one of those episodes where we don't follow our main character.
No, never. Well, not really.
But
Barely.
anyhow, Mickey's traveling with the party.
Yep, they discover a spaceship which has a temporal connection to Victorian time France for some reason. The reason is because this lady's name is written on the fucking spaceship, and these AI don't know what else to do.
The AI.
So they come try to get her to, I don't remember, reinvigorate their spaceship or some shit.
They were gonna use her brain as the fucking
as the pilot or something.
Computer or some stupid bullshit.
And then the doctor's like, no. And then they stop, and then he's like, "Oh, you want to come up in space with me, girl? I met when she was 6, and the next time she saw me, kissed me."
I feel like we're not doing it justice, because throughout the episode, time skips very fast. So the doctor and this young woman interact several times over and over. And the first time that they meet, she's like 6 years old, and then we flash and she's like 16, or 18. She's 18 because she fucking kisses the doctor, and then we just keep skipping further and further,
until then she's dead, and he missed his chance.
And it's so weird because these two people have been on the screen together for like 2 seconds, and one forcibly kissed the other, but now they're in love though.
Yeah, now he's very sad. Because
that's all you need. That's all you need.
He's very sad, you guys. Even though Rose is literally 2 feet away, he's very sad about this girl he didn't get to bang.
This girl that he literally
just met,
knew an amalgamate time of like
an hour,
10 minutes. No, 10 fucking minutes.
Well, he parties with her at one point, but.
Okay, so Stephen Moffat wrote this episode, and you can tell because it's flaccid as fuck.
Mm-hmm. And it shows his view on women is that they should be, mothers, love interests, all that shit. Only exist for the love interests of men.
The thing that gets me about this episode, and I feel like you nailed it when we were talking about it, is that she's just a self-insert, and to me this feels like a very corporate episode. I feel like they looked at their list of episodes that they were gonna do.
They looked at their costumes at the BBC, and they're
and they were like, okay, we need an episode for the ladies. We need an episode for the ladies, and then
for the ladies who want to bang the doctor.
And then Stephen Moffat started sweating because he's like, I can't write women, and then he starts sweating, and then Russell T Davies goes like, all right, let's draw straws, and Stephen Moffat got the shortest straw, and he's like, and now I get it, he's like, well, fucking do that book.
Let's just do that book, but worse because I'm Stephen Moffat, and I hate women.
I have to be very clear with you. This episode feels very fake. It feels very forced. The romance between this lady and the doctor is just so forced.
So shoved down your throat.
So shoved down your throat. And there's so very little Doctor Who in this episode.
Yeah, Mickey and Rose barely get any time to do anything. It sucks. I'm gonna spoil it. This is the only, solo episode in which Mickey gets to travel with Rose and the doctor. And this is what we get? An episode where Mickey doesn't do shit?
Yep.
That's fucking shitty.
Also,
fuck you, Stephen Moffat.
It feels so fake because, the doctor, okay, let's say that he's known her for 1 hour. Let's say he's known her for fucking a week. He's breaking down in tears and he's inconsolable because this
random lady from the past fucking died.
I have trouble believing that. One, because he's a fucking Time Lord and he's fucking witnessed his entire race die. I feel like inside of his heart he has to be like, this sucks. But it's not as bad as that time my entire species perished.
Yeah, my friends, my family, everyone I was
my
close
planet
to.
And everyone, everything I cared about.
Everything I knew and loved.
And then there's, just the everyday existence about the fact that, he exists in a universe where his people don't exist anymore and he's all alone.
Or the fact that he's, traveled with multiple companions, and the fact that he cannot die while all of them can die, and he's probably witnessed the deaths of some of them, and...
To me, this just feels like a doubly bad episode after school reunion, which was about the fact that the doctor keeps bouncing between pretty young white things. And then here we have another pretty young white thing, and he's like, man... And, I feel like he just needed to look at the camera and be like, man, she was the one. She was the one, you guys. And it's just so...
And Rose in the background being like, what the fuck?
It's just so nothing.
It's so fake.
And I don't want to say it feels like Stephen Moffat phoned it in, but it feels like he fucking phoned it in. There's nothing in this episode.
I don't know how much he can phone in and how much of this is just him.
I don't want to do personal attacks, Max said, already having done plenty of personal attacks. But to me, it just feels very corporate. It just feels like, okay, here's an episode for the ladies, for anyone out there who wants to bang the Doctor. Here you go. Here is your dream scenario where he falls in love with you in flashback glimpses across.
You meet him
23
as a child,
minutes.
and you dream of him ever since, and then you get to see him again, and you kiss him.
Yeah.
Oh, Jojo baby.
Yeah.
It has a little bit of the what's going to happen to Amy Pond, which makes it feel a little extra Moffat-y than it would otherwise if this was just a one-off and Moffat never directed and wrote an entire season.
I don't know who Amy Pond is, other than that comedian from SNL. Anyhow,
Amy? No,
I think Amy.
No,
anyhow.
Amy. No.
I don't know who Amy Pond is, but I can agree with you.
Yeah.
Stephen Moffat dropped the ball.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get there.
I am so ready for Stephen Moffat to drop the ball. His hands are covered in grease, and they're about to pass him the basketball, and he's just gonna drop it all over the place.
Unfortunately, the next time we do see Stephen Moffat, he actually does a good episode, so he's so hit or
I
miss.
haven't seen it yet, so I will be the one to decide. I don't know how I feel about an antagonist that you can defeat by blinking one eye at a time.
Listen, I didn't think about that back in
Well,
2007.
someone in the writing room should have said that. Anyhow, The Girl in the Fireplace is ultimately a very nothing episode. You can completely skip and you will absolutely miss nothing. In fact, your life will be improved because you didn't waste 49 minutes of your life watching a self-insert story sold and manufactured for
Women.
For women. And it's Stephen Moffat writing an episode for women, so you can realize just how fucking terrible this is.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get on to some better episodes. The Cybermen.
I'll take Cybermen over Moffat.
Episode 5, Rise of the Cybermen, and Episode 6, The Age of Steel, both written by Tom McRae, which originally aired May 13th and May 20th, 2006. Cybermen are back, boys!
Wait, okay. The first time is free.
Mm-hmm. What about the second time in this exact same season?
No, the second time is not free. I mean, it was established.
It works.
We're getting there.
If they come back in the later season, not free.
So in the Rise of Cybermen, we have the Doctor and Rose and Mickey are teleported to an alternate dimension. They basically slip through the void.
Yes.
And fall in an alternate dimension, which you're not allowed or supposed to anymore. All the dimensions are supposed to be sealed off.
Yeah, but somehow they crash land into it.
And in this dimension, there's blimps everywhere. It's Earth. Rose's father Pete
is alive. And
Jackie,
actually a successful businessman.
Jackie's very mean.
Yes.
And Rose is a dog.
Yeah, Rose doesn't exist.
And
as a child.
there's we have the unfortunate trope of a
man in a wheelchair wanting to
a disabled
live
person
longer.
wanting to
enslave the human race and live longer.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate trope that
then as a robot he still gets a wheelchair, so
Fuck, why do you have to fucking remind me? That is a trope that has never been any more stale than it is now, and it was already stale in 2006.
Anyway.
It's worse. That lump of cheese is covered with mold. The Rise of Cybermen.
We also get the introduction of Ricky.
Ricky.
This world's Mickey.
Yep. Who's a badass cyberpunk. He's actually the leader of Avalanche.
Except Avalanche is just like a paper pusher.
Yeah. Anyhow.
Mickey also gets a lovely reunion with his gran who died.
Yeah.
But in this universe, she's perfectly alive.
Yep.
And Pete works for the Cyberman Corporation, but don't worry, he's a spy, so...
well, we don't learn that until later, but yes.
Well, second episode. In the second episode...
He was Gemini. But yeah, so in this episode, we learned that man in a wheelchair wants to live longer, so he creates the Cybermen to basically... And the Cyberman, in case you don't know, is
is a human being stripped of its emotions in a metal suit that lets them live longer and
basically live forever and be almost indestructible.
Yeah.
But they also have this kind of hive mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And I really like the way that they first established by the fact that everyone has basically earpods, which is pretty fun. I like how reality mimics fiction. Because both of us have earpods. Well, off-brand, but we don't have that money. Support us on Patreon if you want us to get earpods.
AirPods.
So I liked that. I also like being able to see Pete and Jackie in a different dimension.
Yes.
Again, Jackie is really mean, but what the fuck did you expect, Rose? Yeah. Acting so familiar.
And also, the fact is, this Jackie has aged differently because she's rich, and our Jackie is poor, has kind of dealt with the loss of her husband, and she's gone through a lot more emotionally than this Jackie, who is a rich white lady who gets everything she wants, including the fact that her age is wrong on her birth certificate.
When you have money, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
You can even try to enslave the whole human race and put them in metal casings.
Yeah, that almost worked.
So in this episode, there's also this slight twist that Mickey exists in this dimension as Ricky, the leader of Avalanche, basically, who's attempting to basically
stop the invasion of
Cyberman.
Cybercorps? Whatever the fuck the company was called?
Yeah, whatever it was called.
It doesn't matter.
So at the end of the first episode, we have a bit of a fake out where like, the Cybermen are about to shoot the Doctor.
And the Doctor's like, we surrender, you can just take us. And they're like, nah, we're gonna delete you.
So in
bitch.
perfect Doctor Who fashion, like the next episode starts with like
immediately opens up and
complete fake out of like, no one got shot. Everyone's
the
fine.
Doctor's got a gun and he just eats everybody.
I must admit,
it's kind of dumb.
No, like you get to do that once. You get to do that fake out once, and if you do it like every other episode,
every
two-parter in a season, like no, you don't get to do that like absolute fake out. No, you get to do it once. That's what you should really cherish it. But in spite of that, I really like Mickey in this episode.
Mickey gets so much,
especially because Ricky dies. So Mickey decides at the end of the episode that he's going to stay.
Second episode, he decides he's going to take care of his gran. He's going to help out. Defeat the remainder of the Cybermen because as they take down the Cyberman company. I love his little arc where the Doctor goes, any idiot with a computer can, have this code, and Mickey, using his hacking skills that we learned that he has, defeats the Cybermen essentially and then decides to stay in the resistance group with Pete and, go hunt the rest of the Cybermen.
Yep.
It's great. His arc is so good.
It was this is the two-parter that made me really like Mickey.
Yeah.
And again I feel like there was a
children.
And it kind of establishes what's going to be happening later. But Mickey making the tough choice of wanting to stay in this dimension, even if it means never seeing Rose ever again.
Exactly. Yeah, finding his own place in the universe. Essentially.
Yep.
I just gave myself chills saying that. There's also the fact that like his Ricky's friend. Everyone always read those as Ricky and Jake being in a queer relationship.
That's fair.
So, Mickey may be queer.
We gotta take him whatever we can.
Listen, it's gonna be a while till we get a gay couple. In fact, it was in season 3. We had a gay couple.
Oh yeah, fuck. Anyhow, I'm gonna now. Here's all the praise. Now let's fucking talk about the
Cyberman.
Well, before that, the antagonist. Okay. That's a stale ass trope, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, like if on the year of our Lord 2020, if you're writing that fucking trope, get the fuck out of here. It's stupid. It's dumb.
I'm sorry. I just realized the trope comes back in season 3.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for what better backstory for your villain do you have than being disabled? I feel like that really
or trying to live again, basically.
Yeah, I really am being sarcastic. I really love that trope where disabled people get to be evil just because they're disabled.
And they feel cheated by the system.
Yeah, exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
I just love that.
Shut your fucking mouth. I'm disabled. Get the fuck out of here.
It's just such clever writing. I feel like, and my favorite part. Favorite quotation fingers is that like even when
he gets turned into a Cyberman,
he ascends into his final form as the final boss of this two-parter, and he's still on a fucking wheelchair.
He's still got all his tubes hooked up to his wheelchair, and he's defeated by pulling out all the tubes in his wheelchair. Why is this a thing that happens?
Tom McRae. Tom.
This is the only episodes he's written for Doctor Who.
What the fuck?
Why do you gotta be like this?
Like I feel like that's the point in which like I don't want to say the internalized discrimination towards disabled people shows up, that he has to stay disabled even though he's literally achieved his ultimate
robot.
form. Like I feel like it would have at least have him achieve the thing he wanted in his fucking dream world.
Yeah.
I feel like that at least would have actually felt that the writing made sense. The fact that he comes out on a fucking it's a
power chair.
No, it's a throne. It's a throne that moves, and he's still hooked up in spite of the fact that he's a Cyberman now.
Yeah, he doesn't need all those tubes.
I hate the fact that every episode in this season so far has ended with both of us going, that was good, except for that one stupid thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Honestly, how do you feel about the way that we defeat the Cybermen? By giving them back their emotions and they all just like combust on the floor because they're like shit.
What I'm gonna say is that I understand that it's a very easy way to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way that it was established by the fact that the Doctor literally opened up a Cyberman and was like, "Oh my god! If you just do this, they get their emotions back."
That part, yeah.
Now, to me, if that step hadn't been there, I would have been like, "That was too easy." But because it was established and we set it up, I'm okay with it.
How did you favorite side character? Mine's the old lady. The badass hacker old lady.
Yeah!
I love her.
Yeah, the old lady was fucking awesome.
Yeah. Or queer as heck Jake.
Yeah.
Jake comes back.
They're all pretty... Wait, does he? Okay, yeah, you just scared me for a second.
Oh, no.
No, yeah, I like the lady the most, definitely.
Yeah,
and honestly, I actually really like Pete as well.
I love Pete.
Also...
He's very, like, harsh in this episode because, like, Rose is coming up to him and being like, I'm your daughter from another dimension. And he's like, I don't have any children. Go away.
Yeah. Also, again... If there are any props I can give to Doctor Who so far, is that there was a window. There was an open, gaping door saying, hey, what if you have a quick little exchange where Pete flirts on his own daughter that he doesn't know that he has? But instead, I feel like Russell T. Davies put his hand on Tom McRae's shoulder and went, no, we don't have to do that. We don't have to do that.
Let's not.
And I appreciate that we didn't have that. It's the second time in which Rose has been in a situation in which her father has no idea who she is, and she's a beautiful, pretty young white thing, and we have not had a creepy exchange.
Mm-hmm. It's very nice.
Count your blessings.
Yes.
You know?
You count your blessings where you can. There's ableism in this episode, but there's also some good things.
Count your blessings where you got them, folks. Count them if you got them. That's the way that I've always liked to say. Is there anything else you want to say about the Age of Steel and the Rise of the Cyberman?
I do like what it sets
Also, what about
up.
Rise of the Cyberpeople?
It's true.
You know?
It's an old fan. They're old villains.
Yeah, fix it.
Yeah,
fix
I know.
Fix it.
I do like... God, you just reminded me of the episode in Torchwood called The Cyber Woman.
Fuck.
And I hate that it's called that. I do like the implication of what this sets up for the rest of the season, even though we didn't even know that this was setting it up, and for Torchwood. I like that, but otherwise, like, I like these episodes mostly for Mickey.
Oh, actually, we haven't talked about something. How do you feel about the Cyberman as an antagonist?
Oh, they're boring.
This is, and I feel like this is gonna... I mean, I guess we can start talking about it now and address it at the end, but it's just like, I understand that in the history of Doctor Who, we're gonna have like our overseas viewers are gonna be like, you don't get it.
They're iconic.
We grew up watching Doctor Who,
fearing the Cybermen.
I peed my pants when I watched that one. We all peed our pants when we watched that one episode with the Daleks. But listen, I understand that the Cybermen and the Dalek. They come from a different time in science fiction. Yeah. A time in which all you had to do to be an antagonist was be a metal can with a plunger.
And have no emotions.
And like one of the things that I dislike the most is that the Cybermen and the Dalek are like the exact same idea.
Yeah.
It's a
metallic human
with no emotions,
stripped of emotions,
inside of a metal box.
Pretty much.
And someone out there is crying heresy. Someone out there is leaving a dislike and writing a mean comment about how I don't get it and how I have no talent. And
an hour into this video,
and I must
probably
scream.
not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, and this is a theme for my complaints in Doctor Who. For this finale, it's fine.
If the Daleks and Cybermen never showed up again, we'd be happy.
If they never showed up, or they showed up like 5 seasons into the future, I would be okay with it. But the fact that these two antagonists keep getting rehashed and rehashed is the thing that bothers me. Because, and I feel like this was part of our criticism with My Hero, is that like, when you only have one antagonist and that's it, you kind of the heroes will stop kind of being tested, and you have to keep coming up with new weird
bigger,
ways
badder
to solve the problems.
Antagonists, but we're still following the same antagonists at the same time.
You know what? For all of our anime viewers right now, I want you to just imagine how less iconic Dragon Ball Z would have been if Frieza had been the antagonist at the end of every season of Dragon Ball. I want you to just imagine that.
Keeps coming.
Like Trunks slashes him in half, and then like 2 episodes later, Frieza comes back again as a bigger, more robotic Frieza.
More dicked OG.
You know?
Yeah, it's true. Like we were literally talking about this last night because we were about to watch the Dalek episode in season 3. The Dalek episode.
No, it's like there was like the preview for the next episode, and I'm like, it's a fucking Dalek, isn't it? And I'm like,
the lips, that's literally called Daleks in Manhattan.
And I'm like, please. No, sir, no more, please.
When we were talking about this, is like, I feel like Russell T Davies' specialty is writing character. His specialty is not villains. It's like his anti-specialty.
Yeah, it's like we call those weaknesses, man.
Whatever. Fucking shut your mouth.
It's like, and I feel like that's one of those pivotal things, because, like, if your antagonist doesn't force your protagonist to improve and get better and find out solutions, everyone loses at the end.
Yeah.
And I know, so people I can hear across time and space, but the Weeping Angels are so cool. There's a lot of expectations that are building up, and they have to really be amazing, because so far, all of the Doctor's antagonists have been unemotional, completely one-note aliens that should really be defeated with Jack Harkness coming out with a gun, but they're not.
That's because Jack Harkness ain't even in this season.
That's fine.
Highly rude.
I just want Jack Harkness to jump out of a car with the gun again.
I know.
Does that happen again?
Honestly, can't remember.
I know.
I think he has a gun when he comes back.
I know the video would get copyrighted, but I would just love to have the background for these just be the gif of Jack Harkness coming out of the car with the gun,
with the shotgun,
and solving the problem.
Everyone.
I'm gonna cry. I just love that so much, because it's the most anti-Doctor Who thing.
Gun.
But it just fixed the problem with the gun, K9.
With 2 guns.
Anyhow, we were the Cybermen, honestly, oh my god, the preview image for the 6th episode is the fucking cyber wheelchair.
God. And me. Let's just end it
there.
There we go.
That's it. Yep.
That's it. That's all we need. Episode 7, The Idiot's Lantern, written by Mark Gatiss, which originally aired on May 27th, 2006. This is about the evils of television. Woo! It's not, but...
Yeah, so happening back in the old-timey days, when TV were...
when fathers were abusive and everyone just put up with it.
I can't believe you immediately led with that. I wanted to be like, welcome back to Daddy Issues, the episode. Hey, Mark Gatiss, are you dealing with any things? Because it really does feel like there was
other stuff of Doctor Who.
Yeah, because we made fun of him as like, Mark got this. More like a Mark don't got this.
What else is he? I'm sorry. While you explain the episode.
In this episode, we have the evils of television in the form of an alien that exists inside of cyberspace. I realize that I'm basically describing the plot of a superhuman samurai superhuman cyber squad or whatever.
The only other episode he's written that we've seen is The Unquiet Dead.
Yes. In this episode, this electricity alien has basically been tricking this one man into giving everyone TV, so that when everyone's watching the coronation of Queen Elizabeth, one of them...
Princess Diana?
No, it's not Diana. It's not Diana.
Hold on.
Okay. Yeah,
Queen Elizabeth II.
I know 2 viewers who are already mad at us. We're so sorry. We don't expect you to know about our bullshit precedents.
We really don't.
Please don't expect us to know about your... your very own people in a position of power. In a kind... I mean, I know. Anyhow, listen...
Listen, we only know you're prime minister because he fucking was like, yeah, everyone go get corona, and then got corona. Yeah. And almost died.
Words spoken before disaster.
Yeah.
Anyhow, welcome back to the year 2020. How are y'all doing living through the apocalypse? We're doing fine. Talking about Doctor Who. I hope you're having a good time. Take a sip of coffee. Take a deep breath. Doctor Who.
The Idiot's Lantern. An episode I literally forgot about until we watched it. And have started to forget about again already.
So, in this episode, the problem is solved by the Doctor basically hacking a TV station, and a young man who could very much be you solving the day.
Yay! After dealing with daddy issues.
After dealing with abuse from your father.
Yeah.
This does feel, I don't want to say that it feels like a very British episode, because it deals with the aftermath of World War II, and I can definitely feel the sore point of like the idea of like things were really bad after the war, and I get that, and I'm not saying anything against that. It feels a little bit on the nose, and especially the daddy issues things are a little bit like the worst part about it is the resolution to that.
Oh my god, it's the worst.
Where like a big bad abusive dad ends up getting kicked out of the house
because mom's is an independent woman who stands up for herself,
and also she owns the house from the beginning. So it's like,
her and her mom who he was trying to be like, nah, don't worry about it.
What the alien was doing, by the way, was sucking people's faces off by having them look at the TV. Yeah. That's what they were doing. I
don't know why.
There was a weird thing where you could people didn't have faces, and it was kind of creepy and off-putting. Also, Torchwood's in this episode, but never mind that.
Torchwood's in almost all these episodes.
It's fine. But at the end of the episode, big abusive dad gets kicked out of the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the doctor and the kid are watching the dad walk away, looking all disheveled because he's been kicked out of the house.
Yeah,
and then
he's looking all sad.
And then Rose walks up to the boy and says, Go to him.
Go after him. He's your dad after all.
He's your dad after all. Forgive him. Forgive your abuser.
Yeah. That's a terrible message to end on.
It's a terrible message, mostly because maybe it's just their different mentalities, and maybe the fact that we were raised differently. But it's just that I've always been of the mentality that
cut the abusers out of your life.
Exactly, life's too damn short for you to spend it around shitty people.
Yeah. And like we talked about this after the episode, because I think I remembered why I didn't remember this episode, and it's because I hate that ending so much I blocked it out. But we talked about it after, is like, if it had come from anyone other than Rose, who we have seen has daddy issues, we would have been like, what the fuck, Doctor Who, come on. Even coming from Rose, I'm still like, he literally like yelled at him and threatened to slap him. That's our girls, by the way.
So, again, I want to just reprise this again really quickly, okay?
Yeah.
I understand why Rose said it.
Yeah.
I understand why her as a character decided to say those words, have those words come out of her mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it.
No.
And I feel like that's in the writing room. Someone had to be like, I understand that Rose would say that, but like, it makes the ending feel kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Also, that dad was a dick.
Yeah, we framed that dad as a complete asshole the entire time, and like at the end he gets redeemed because, you gotta love your dad, I guess.
No, you don't.
You really don't.
No, you don't have to. The Dango Duo is here to tell you for the PSA of the day that you don't have to love your daddy.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to say that.
That's fair.
I want someone to just clip that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to forgive the people who abuse you.
No, fuck that. Fucking cut them out of your life if you want to.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things like in true crime that we deal with a lot, is like people forgiving like the people who've done wrong to them or their family, and I'm like, if that helps you, that's
cool, man.
fine.
That's cool. But expecting that of people, I feel
we
like
all
that's
deal with things differently.
Yeah.
And if your response to abusers is to cut them out of their life, that's as completely as valid as you forgiving them.
Yeah. Again, the thing that we're arguing against is this perception in culture that you have to forgive your abuser to be able to overcome grief,
and especially if it's like
pain.
your parent or family or
parents,
something blood related.
And you don't have to.
No.
Dango Duo is here to tell you that you do not have to forgive your parents for fucking you up.
Mm-hmm. We've all been there.
We've all been there. That's life.
Other than that, this episode is so
it's actually such a nothing episode. I like the alien lady. She was cute.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah, I like her performance. You know what?
Feed me.
Yeah, she's almost like a face clean for like Moira from Overwatch, almost.
I can see that with like longer hair.
Yeah, but anyhow, the idiot's lantern.
I didn't even know why it's called. Is that what they called TVs back
That's
in
what
the
they
day?
called TVs back in the day.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. But that's this episode.
It's okay. We're moving on to much better episodes next time. Yay! Alright, enough distractions. It's trash day. We have a cat here, but we're talking about episode 8, The Impossible Planet, and episode 9, The Satan Pit, written by Matt Jones, which originally aired June 3rd, 2006, and June 10th, 2006.
And here we are, at last.
Oh my god. Our son wants to come say hi.
Our cat, Yanto, in case you don't know, in case somehow you found us through this podcast series, and you're like, who is your son? Who is that small child?
Not our literal
this
child,
small,
just a
furry
small
child
dumb baby.
Is our cat, Yanto. He's a Russian blue, in case you're wondering what he looks like.
Yeah, and he has the biggest baby face in the world.
So in case you're wondering why is it that we keep like delaying talking about Doctor Who, is because we exist in the past.
Yes.
And last night we watched Human Nature,
God.
which is actually the worst episode of Doctor Who ever made that we have seen so far.
Worse than Girl in the Fireplace?
Absolutely.
That's fair.
Worse than Fear Her, worse than Love and Monsters, which we'll be talking about after this one. But today we're not talking about season 3, and we're not talking about the absolute injustices of Martha Jones.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about The Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, which is this here. This is a science fiction movie.
Chef's kiss.
these 2 episodes together is a sci-fi movie, and it's fucking amazing.
I'll summarize it really quickly.
Yes.
So the Doctor and Rose... My phone is on silent, sorry. The Doctor and Rose land on a spaceship, and they have no idea where they are. They just, kind of land there. They end up getting stuck there. This is a spaceship that is orbiting around a black hole, somehow fixed in gravity, so that, they're on a planet that's fixed in gravity. That won't get sucked into the black hole somehow. And they're like, what is this? Why is this so? Yeah, so the science team is digging down to the pit, or they're digging a pit down to see what this energy source is that they can harvest and bring back to the Earth and see, what the fuck's going on, or wherever they come from. It's probably not Earth.
And they learn that inside of this rock that's orbiting this black hole, upon which they have their space station. It's not a spaceship, it's a space station.
Yeah.
There is an entity living there that may or may not be using its influence to affect the crew and ultimately attempts to free itself from its prison.
From its prison.
This is a fucking science fiction movie.
Banger.
There is budget here. There is money. We have characters who have arcs who are not the main cast.
Oh god, it's so good. Captain's my favorite.
The way that we have been doing this project is that we watch an episode a night so that we don't go crazy. But for the Impossible Planet, as soon as we finished the Impossible Planet, I was like,
I looked at you and I was like,
as she's smiling, by the way.
Yeah.
And I went, okay, you got me. Let's watch the second part because I had to.
I'm not gonna lie, I hyped this up. This is one of the legitimately my favorite episodes. I remember when I first watched it, it actually gave me nightmares because the suspense of especially that first episode of what the fuck is going on? There's something infecting this.
Oh,
see, you didn't put your phone on silence.
Roast me.
Anyway, there's something infecting this crew member and is making him do this weird shit. And then there's this my favorite part of the beginning of the mystery is when the Doctor and Rose come into this room and they see I forget what it says, welcome to hell, and then underneath it is this ancient alien language that the TARDIS is not translating.
Yeah.
And the Doctor's like, what the fuck, it should translate everything. And I love that that's the kind of the beginning opening mystery of what the fuck is happening on this impossible planet.
Yep.
Oh,
and I gotta say that you hyped it up, but I don't think you hyped it up enough because I watched the episode and I'm like, this is way better than I thought it would be.
It's
intense.
Good.
It's very well written, and I know that we just said that, but I have to go over my nitpicks.
Yeah,
because one is not a very good writing thing that I dislike in science fiction, but apparently gets expanded on later. And one is a nitpick. The nitpick that I have is that watching this episode, the first part, there's a heavy implication that the thing living inside of the pit is the devil.
Is actually the devil.
And I won't lie to you, the instant that became an implication that or something that was overtly said by a character, I'm like...
It was overtly said by the dude.
Yeah, I'm like, that's fucking boring, and I hate it, because you have science fiction, you can do whatever, anything you could possibly want, and you can use your imagination to create whatever, and you just make the devil from Christianity. That's fucking lame, no points, go back to the drawing board and try again. Now, the twist was that it wasn't just the Christian idea of devil, but just the concept
the origin of devil in all cultural understanding and knowledge. That thing in the back of your brain of this evil entity.
Yeah, my favorite line is from the Doctor when he's standing by the edge of the pit, and it's that little voice telling you to jump, even though you know that will kill you. That voice tells you to jump, and that being defined as the idea of this entity that is
that has influenced the entirety of the galaxy of the entire universe.
Now, I went from not liking it to liking it once they were, this is the concept of the devil, this concept that shows up all across the universe.
I like when he goes, many have called me, different things throughout the eons.
I like that.
Yes.
That's good.
That's
good. Why the fuck is the second episode called The Satan Pit?
It should just be called The Pit.
It should just be called The Pit, because then you go from it can be anything, it's a concept, and they just call it Satan, and I'm like, congratulations, you've
undermined yourself.
You pulled a pistol and shot yourself in the foot. Yep. Congratulations. That's
great episode, but
again, these are nitpicks, except for the next one, the ones coming after this.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the thing where I'm like, really, really, really good.
Yeah.
99%.
And then you stumbled right at the beginning of the next episode. You're like,
this is still the best two-parter.
Yes, it's so fucking good.
This is the best 2 episodes of Doctor Who you can watch right now.
Yeah. And you don't even have to, like, know Doctor Who to watch these and appreciate this, honestly, good, compelling science fiction story.
You know, if I had to give them a score, I would definitely make these, like, 9.9.
Yeah.
I would give them, like, this is not occurring enough time. That's stupid. This is not Chrono Trigger, but it's pretty damn fucking close.
It's basically there. It just needs, like, a little touch-up, touch-up. What's your actual nitpick, though?
My actual nitpick? Mm-hmm. The Ood.
Yeah.
The Ood, I understand that the Ood exists as a fake-out. That you go, oh, they're ugly aliens. I should be afraid. And then you go, no, they're pretty actually harmless.
They're just a slave race.
And then why do you have to undermine my ability to rant about this? Leading the shot. No, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah.
Let me just
go for it.
Finish my little spiel here.
Mm-hmm.
And then ultimately the Ood end up being the antagonists because the Ood are this alien race that have a hive mind capacity. Mm-hmm. They all basically think the same, behave in the same way, and the thing that I dislike is that the Ood serve as that science fiction trope that white men love to do, where here's a race that just wants to be slaved.
They just want to help out people, you know.
So you don't have to feel bad about being mean to them or discriminating them or basically using them as capital, basically.
Yeah.
Using them as objects because they want to be treated that way. The exact same mentality that was literally used less than 100 years ago to justify discrimination against people of color. But you know, whatever, it's fine, right? It's just science fiction. We don't have to talk about those things.
We don't have to talk about the real world applications
I know you love the Ood because there's more Ood coming up.
Yeah, there's more Ood in season 4.
And I assume that adds more to the Ood other than just, here is your archetypical please slave me race and don't feel bad about it.
Yeah. I do appreciate that Rose brings up the fact is like, what the fuck? What is this? You know, this is the future of the human race and we still have fucking slaves. I do really appreciate that in this episode, but I will 100% like be like, the Ood are there to be a vehicle for the beast, basically, to use and to scare us and be like, what the fuck is happening? Because it takes over their telepathic field, essentially.
I guess, like, it's weird to me because, like, and I feel like this is part of the rant that I have for human nature. And please excuse the background noise. We can't help it. It's trash day.
We gotta go.
For more vintage memes, check out Dango Duo.
Yeah. It's okay, Yanto.
The complaints I have about human race is that the entire... Human nature, thank you. The entire setup about human nature... Again, sorry for the background noise. The part of my rant about human nature is that the entire setup doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have to have the Ood be a slave race in order to have a vehicle for the antagonist to take over the space station.
Right.
It's the kind of thing where, and I'm sorry, a writing room full of straight white men probably wouldn't realize that maybe, this...
Maybe this isn't...
It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to have the Doctor go back to old-timey times so that everyone can be racist to Martha Jones. You don't have to do that. I'm fucking mad, and we're not gonna talk about that for, a month.
Yeah.
But anyhow...
Anyway.
I like the first twist with the Ood. I like that this physically unappealing race of aliens. One, have an interesting physical appearance.
Yes.
And two, you'll subvert your expectations by ultimately having them be a harmless race. I actually think that's fun.
They come in and they... I forget what they ask for the stinger before the opening, but it's like, something about feeding them.
Yeah. Feed them. Yeah.
And it's actually them being like, "Would you like us to feed you?" Talking to Rose and the Doctor.
Yeah, and I can see the charm. Like in a vacuum, the Ood are rather charming because it's a group of people who just want to make everyone else comfortable around them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I see that. And again, someone in the comments right now, I can hear them. They're typing very angrily that we're taking this too seriously because fiction doesn't matter and you shouldn't think too much. You should just turn off your brain.
And absorb
just consume media and be happy.
Yeah.
But we're two fucking writers, so...
Yeah, we're two writers and we've been doing this since, 2015?
Yeah,
so that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, so... We've been doing this since you were in fucking elementary school because that's how old you actually are.
Yeah, you're baby.
Fucking baby. You're a baby going wow in the comment. Anyhow. I like the twist with the Ood, and I'm happy knowing that there's more Ood coming up eventually.
To be honest, I only remember one episode, but they do talk about their hive mind and the fact that they are an enslaved race, from what I remember.
Yeah.
Again, haven't seen Doctor Who in many, many years. So...
Fingers crossed that there's more. There's more.
Yes.
But
I don't remember if they come up in Moffat too, to be honest.
And again, and someone's gonna be like, "Oh, so the show has to be perfect in order to make us happy." No. As writers, we analyze media. You have to ask those questions because that's what we do. Mm-hmm. You don't just put shit on the screen. You actually think about it because this matters to us.
Yeah.
And I still think The Impossible Planet and The Sit and Pit are actually the two best episodes of Doctor Who. Mm-hmm. But that comes with caveats.
Yeah, that comes with small caveats, which is why they're so good.
These two episodes could be the Chrono Trigger of Doctor Who, but they're not there yet.
Almost. It just needed like a quick title rewrite and then like a little rewrite about the Ood.
And I feel like it goes to show that like literally like I wanted more for the Ood, or just altering that plot thread of having an enslaved race
essentially.
And the other complaint is the title undermines your overall message.
Your entire point, basically.
And I feel that like.
Hello,
a piece of writing advice that can literally be solved by deleting a word on your title is actually pretty good.
Pretty harmless.
Pretty harmless.
Yeah, that's not gonna, ruin your writing. That's, you're still writing really good. Little editing.
No, like I feel like if I sent you my manuscript and you said, this one chapter heading undermines the whole message, I would just like double click on that word, hit delete, and then finish work early and go I don't know, have a coffee or something.
Right. I can't go out.
Yeah.
This is a pandemic.
In these uncertain times, you can find pleasure and joy in knowing that there is 2 good episodes of Doctor Who.
It's true.
This is a science fiction movie. I was watching this and I'm like, fucking Kendra would love this.
Kendra would love this. It's so alien. It's so
alien. And there's budget.
Yeah, like the beast looks like really good when we get there. Yeah. I love the way that they use the guy who's basically like infected essentially.
Yeah.
I love the way that they do like how they put the ancient writing all over him, and like how when he first discovers it he's trying to wash it off. It's so good.
And also the actor did a really good job at going between like I don't know what's going on to like
and being like ha ha ha. I love the moment when he when they're trying to escape the Ood because the Ood are being taken over by the beast, and he turns back to the suddenly he's like running away, he's scared, and he turns back to the Ood transformed, and he gives him a little motion, and then turns back and goes, help me, the Ood are gonna get me.
It's so good. It's so good. And also again, David Tennant, fantastic performance. Like when he's like standing by the pit talking about like this little voice in the back of basically every living creature's mind. It's like jump, and I'm like. It still gives me like chills right now just thinking about it because it's just so effective, and not only that but also the ultimate resolution of the plot, and also the Doctor's ability to it had me on the edge of my seat thinking how are we gonna come back from this?
How are we gonna get out of this?
And I feel like because this is ultimately a sitcom. At the end of every episode, the Doctor and the companion are most likely gonna still be together, and the Doctor's gonna live on because I know that there's 3 more seasons or whatever with Tennant. There isn't, but
Put it on the bed again.
Yeah, I'm gonna put the cat's scratching at the door, being like, "Leave me.
Let me free, my son. You don't want to leave."
But he doesn't want to leave. He just wants.
He just got scared of the trash truck, because he thinks it's gonna take him away.
As I was saying, we know that the episode of Doctor Who is not finite. The events that are taking place here are not the ultimate definition of this character, and on the next episode in Love and Monsters, the Doctor is still gonna be alive. Yeah. So the fact that I, as a writer, I'm watching the episode and going, how are you gonna turn this around without it being like a sitcom where the Doctor just like
Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, Deus Ex Machina, and the resolution is really good and really emotional and impactful, and Rose fucking pulling a gun and shooting at the window of the spaceship.
Yeah, it's so good.
Effectively attempting to kill everyone and the bad guy.
Yeah.
Is badass as hell. And again, I feel like that's a checklist for us, but any Doctor Who episode in which the Doctor does something cool, and the companion does something
Gets
cool.
to do something cool. That's instant pluses.
Yeah. Which I feel like that's something that, unfortunately, Martha Jones has gotten absolutely nothing of. No. But anyhow, don't worry.
We'll get there.
I love Martha, but Jesus
Martha.
fuck, did they shaft her fucking bad.
Yeah, it's really
She got it so fucking bad. I'm so
Rose
freaking
did
mad.
not.
Rose
got it good.
Rose got it good.
I also, this is a small thing, I like that they actually slightly set up the season finale in this episode.
It's true.
The child who will soon die in battle.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I really like that. Overall, The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit are literally the two best episodes of Doctor Who. They are not perfect.
No.
The goal of fiction is not to be perfect, but it's to be really damn close to it.
It's to evoke feelings, to evoke like
feelings,
inspiration, creativity, to evoke like, you know, if you're trying to scare people, to evoke that sense of fear.
Yep.
And this episode has that in spades.
And I will say this again. If you're just listening to this because you like having something in the background while you're drawing or, you know, grinding in World of Warcraft, no judgment. You do what you do during these uncertain times. Have fun. Take care of yourself. But if you're just listening to this and you're like, you know, I want to listen to Dango Duo ranting, but I don't actually want to watch Doctor Who, I want you
go out of your way and watch these two episodes.
Find The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit, or just The Pit.
I believe they're gonna be on HBO soon, if not already, because Amazon no longer has the rights to streaming Doctor Who, so I believe it passed to HBO. If you're in America. If you're in Britain, it's probably just on cable television all the fucking time.
But what I want to say is that, and you know, you're all clever people. You can find the way to watch these episodes. But these two are definitely worth watching. That right there is a movie. That's a movie.
That's a short movie.
And it's fucking fantastic. And after this glowing recommendation, let's move over to another episode.
Fuck. And now we have Episode 10, Love and Monsters, written by Russell T Davies, which originally aired on June 17th, 2006. Russell, what the fuck were you thinking?
This just goes to show that, you know, writers can make mistakes. Writers can fuck up.
Writers can write a whole episode that's really bad.
So I talked in the previous episode how there's a checklist in my mind kind of for what makes a Doctor Who episode really good, okay? We have science fiction.
Yep.
Because Doctor Who is science fiction.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be just traveling back in time, and that's good enough sometimes.
Sometimes.
But aliens, science fiction.
Yep.
Interesting inspiring science fiction elements, that's a checkbox. The Doctor doing something awesome, that's a checkbox. The companion doing something awesome, that's a checkbox. This episode has none of those things.
Nope. It has an alien, but
it has an alien,
but
it's lame.
Yeah, and he's treated to be pathetic.
Yeah, it's literally like Fat Bastard from Austin Powers.
Anyway, so this episode
this episode, we follow
a group of nobodies.
A group of... See, because I know you're all signed up for the Doctor and the Companion, but what if we gave you an episode that had none of that?
It had, like, 2 scenes with the Doctor and Rose. Jackie gets more screen time in this episode than, like, Rose or the Doctor.
This is what I like to... Like, honestly, here comes a heartfelt explanation, okay? This is a waste of an episode.
Yeah.
I have never liked this. Like, the only time... And I'm really reaching into the back of my skull for this. The only time that I feel that an episode in which the main character didn't show up was anywhere near close to effective, and this shows how old I am. There's an episode of the original Batman animated series in which it's all of the villains sitting around a table talking about the one time they got Batman.
Yeah.
And that's fun because Batman is still in it, and it's interesting and engaging because it's about Batman ultimately.
And it's about the villains who are also very big characters in the universe. This is a group of nobodies.
We follow super nobody.
We follow super nobody, Moaning Myrtle, and their group of Doctor Who, or the Doctor, you know, fanboys. And girls.
Who basically want to find out about the Doctor, but then, like, and it was slightly touching, and I have to stress, this episode isn't terrible right off the bat, but this is the kind of, this is a completely nothing episode that
barely involves the
Doctor. And then it ends in the worst possible fucking way. But let's just get there, okay? So this group of losers set up a club to talk about the Doctor, but then they just ultimately end up spending time together.
They just enjoy each other's company.
Kind of touching and sweet.
They talk about their own stories. I really like how, you know, they open up as like, oh, my daughter went missing, and I'm coming to London to find her, and they all kind of share their thoughts, what they're good at and stuff like that. And it basically just becomes a hangout, essentially.
Also, by the way, we're not being silly. The actress who played Moaning Myrtle is literally in this episode.
And she sounds like a baby.
She sounds like a baby, but she also looks like a 30-year-old woman.
Yeah, so
you know, you do you.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey,
you look at Harry's dick in the bathroom. Go, you do you.
I'm just letting you roast for a little bit.
I did think he has swim trunks on. Anyway, doesn't matter.
Did you think fuck J.K. Rowling?
Yeah.
So this is just something I was gonna say, like, you know, looking like that and sounding like that, you ought to get typecasted all the time. Like, she probably gets work, right?
Oh yeah.
She probably gets work.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Anyhow,
this group is having a good time, and
then this alien man shows up. I mean, you don't know he's an alien, but anyhow, you fucking know, because he looks evil.
And he's like, "Don't touch me."
And then he sends them on jobs to basically find more information about the Doctor, and
then
then
slowly starts killing them off, or they start disappearing, and
Yeah, but he's killing them off one by one.
Well, actually,
and so all these people that you have known for like 5 minutes start just bang bang bang, and end up getting killed, and ultimately you learn that this big alien man, it basically devours people. Absorbs them,
and then their faces show up on his body, and they
and I really like that the only person of color in this episode who shows
was
up
on his ass.
is it being in his ass. That's
great.
That's great. That's great. That's great.
I love that.
I fucking love it. Ultimately, our main boy ends up all by himself, and he's fleeing, and he has no chance of success. And then the Doctor comes in and fixes the problem.
And saves the day. Not without a strange scene of him flirting with Jackie Tyler.
Oh yeah,
of all things. I like that first scene with the laundry, where like the alien man is like, okay, so here's the step of getting close to this person who knows the Doctor. You got to do this, and then as he's gonna do it, Jackie actually does the thing already. She reaches out to him. I like that scene. That's a good
whole scene.
Comedic timing scene.
That whole scene was actually funny.
Yeah.
That whole scene was funny. Unfortunately, it's in this episode.
Yeah.
So it gets no use. So just for you to understand how this episode ends, I need you to understand that Main Boy and Moaning Myrtle were kind of having a thing together.
They were having a thing.
And
after Main Boy, was like, I'm gonna fuck Jackie Tyler to get close to Rose, to get close to the Doctor. He's like, no wait, I actually love Moaning Myrtle. So he goes, and
so
confesses to her essentially,
and invites her to a date, and then that's when
when shit hits the fan.
Yeah. So the alien that loves boring people actually ends up swallowing up Moaning Myrtle, and our boy's by himself, and he's just fleeing, and then the Doctor comes in and using the sonic screwdriver to change the modulation of the guy's fucking body, basically causes the bad guy to just become goop.
De-goop.
And as the bad guy is degooped, all of the people that he absorbed kind of like get to exist for like a second as piles of goop.
Yeah.
I have no mouth and I must scream kind of situation.
Except they only have mouths and faces.
Yeah. So Moaning Myrtle, as she is literally a pile of goop on the floor, tells her boy that she loves him and she hopes that she wishes they could be together forever, and we get a nice little sad moment. And then this whole episode has been like a vlogs, basically, like our main character's been recording videos.
What the fuck? The Neil Patrick Harris.
Dr. Horrible sing-along blog.
Very like that.
Yeah. So in the final episode, we have that, he's or the final part of that episode, we have that, I survived, but we're doing better now. And he pulls out.
And no. And she goes, you hear fucking Moaning Myrtle's voice saying something. So he reaches down, pulls out like the stone slab of like a tile, and it's just her face on a stone slab.
Because apparently the Doctor found a way to keep her alive, but in that goop form attached to the floor. And he cut that piece of the floor out. And I want you to imagine just like a cement block, and on it is just a human face. It's not colored differently. She's
the gray stone color,
and it's just
and they have a relationship.
And they have a relationship, and they
almost explicitly say.
No. They overtly state, and fuck you, Russell T Davies, that they have sex. So this episode, it literally ends in what I refer to as like a goosebump stinger, where it's like, oh, and by the way, I have my very own sentient glory hole now.
She likes it, don't worry.
Fuck this episode. This episode
would have been perfectly serviceable. And I remember, like, as we were getting to the conclusion of the episode, I was like, oh no, I remember the end of this episode because I had blocked it out from so many years of not thinking about it. And I was like, oh no, Max. My hand on your shoulder. Oh no.
Now, someone in the comments is like, what you guys are describing sounds hilarious. It sounds like a train wreck. I want to watch it. It isn't a train wreck.
It's kind of boring in places.
I need you to understand, okay? That ending is like a big fuck you. That ending is like, you have the one student in your classroom who hasn't turned in any fucking work for the whole semester, and it's a week before finals, and they're like, wait, if I do all of the homework, will I get a passing grade? And then you as a professor go, you know what, kid?
Just for you.
And then that kid goes to goes off to get drunk, shit all over the classroom, and throw up, and then not even show up for the final. And that's what the ending of this episode feels like. Because I was like, can I be invested in this episode? No. Because the main character ends up with the sentient glory hole.
Yeah. And they fuck.
What? I didn't need to know that, Russell.
And
again, like, it really, like...
Put your dick away, Russell.
It really feels to me like a Goosebumps stinger.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels like the ending of a fucking Goosebumps episode, where it's just like...
Here's something weird.
Here's something fucking weird for you to think about between now and next episode.
Which is about a child, by the way.
And I want to remind...
It's a very bad transition into the next one.
And I want to remind you, by the way... Wait, Fear... Which one's
That's the one about the child drawing.
Oh, fuck. When I mentioned Fear Her on the previous episode, I meant the one with the fairies in Torchwood.
Torchwood.
What was another episode?
Fucking fairies, I think.
Is it actually fairies?
I don't know.
Anyway, we'll talk about that eventually.
Yeah.
But, again, was there science fiction in this episode? There was a Vora alien, but that's not particularly exciting for me.
And they talked about the doctor.
They talked about the doctor. Did the doctor do anything? No.
No.
Did Rose do anything? No!
They ran around Scooby-Doo style for a little bit, and then they fixed the problem. Rose yelled at the man for being mean to her mom, and then the doctor fixed the problem.
I really like how there was an episode of Doctor Who happening in the background, but we never get to see or hear about it.
Yeah, we get to follow this lame-o.
And again, like, I understand that when you're running a show, you're like, oh, we need something to spice things up.
Or like, David Tennant and Billie Piper are busy, this week.
This is like, and after The Impossible Planet and Sit and Pit, I can understand how you were running out of time to have an episode. I understand that. I really do.
Did it have to be this bad?
This is not the way you do that.
Yeah.
This is not the way you do an episode where you can only get David Tennant for 2 scenes.
We haven't gotten to Blink yet, but I'm pretty sure that's the way you do, like, an episode where the main people can't show up.
And to me, like, I understand how you can be in the writer's chair and think, this is a way to change the flow. But I feel like you have to think what the viewers are gonna, because as someone who's watching this for Doctor Who, I want to see the Doctor and the Companion do shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to follow fuck all nobody and Moaning Myrtle and learn about their
sidekicks and how they all die.
Yeah, and learn about how, she provides him with oral aid now that she's just a face in a fucking cinder block.
How does she eat? How does she live? Can she die? Let's not talk about it. It creeps me the fuck out.
To me, like, that's the thing where, like, it goes from, like, these people shared something, or this character was a person, or whatever, and now I'm like, is he a fucking psychopath? There's a face talking to him, and he's like, we're gonna have a relationship now, and this is completely normal, and we live like this now.
I'm gonna hold her slab face up to mine and go,
fucking, I can't stand it. My whole body's revolting in disgust at this. Love and Monsters is a fucking terrible episode, and someone's gonna be like, I'm gonna watch it to see if it's bad. And it's welcome to wasting 45 minutes of your life.
It's, okay, the worst part about Love and Monsters is that there are parts of it that are good.
The whole thing with the circle of friends growing closer together.
That felt very natural. That felt
very natural, and I like that.
Feel good.
But then the plot has to get moving forward,
the plot has to happen.
And then we start killing the people that we're growing invested in. And it isn't even like, oh, that breaks my heart. It's just like, yeah, of course you're gonna kill them because they don't exist in the plot. They're one-off characters.
This is basically like a prequel episode in a way. It's like, we don't need to care about any of these people because they don't matter.
It's the thing where like who has plot armor in this episode? No one. So of course the machine gun of plot comes in and just mows everyone down.
Everyone but main boy.
Of course it does. And that's predictable.
Yeah.
And that's not good writing.
I also completely forgot about the main boy's like twist about how he first met the doctor.
Oh my god, yes! Okay. Oh my god.
There's so much bad in this episode.
There was actually potential in this episode to turn it into a different thing. Because the whole thing is that the main boy met the doctor when he was young, when his mom died, and the doctor was standing there for some reason.
Like,
and it was Tennant, but whatever, who cares? It's fine.
It's fine.
Chronology. But and that inspired him to just find out more about the doctor. But I feel like Russell T Davies completely just missed the ability to have an episode about someone who wants to get revenge on the doctor.
Yeah, and in thinking that he maybe killed his mom.
Like I feel like that's just money on the table. That's a plot on the table that you just left there. Yeah. And I'm like, that would have been way more interesting. Someone like, and suddenly like the obsessive nature of the main character makes more sense for someone who's like, this man killed my mother and I want to find out why.
I want to find out who he is.
Man, that would have been a way better episode, wouldn't it have?
Yeah, would have.
Man, just thinking about that now, I'm like, that's way better than ultimately ending up with Moaning Myrtle, the sentient glory hole. So, there's that.
There's that.
Fuck.
Life comes at you fast and furious.
Yep, when you're reviewing Doctor Who episodes. And don't worry, it can't be as bad as the...
shit. It's episode 11, Fear Her, written by Matthew Graham, which originally premiered on June 24th, 2006.
In this episode... Wait, fuck, I just realized something.
Do you still think this episode is something else?
No, I remember this episode, but I just realized that Mark Gatiss wrote The Idiot's Lantern. Mark Gatiss, also known as Mark, please look at my naked body Gatiss in the next season.
Yeah, we'll get there.
God, we'll get there, but the fact that one of the writers is like, please, I want to be naked in this episode.
I want to be in this episode, and I want to be naked.
Also, it has to be a bad episode. Anyway, so
don't they all have to be in season 3?
In this episode, the Olympics are about to happen in Britain. 2012 Olympics are happening in Britain. But the Doctor is too busy dealing with a girl's ability to draw to life monsters.
Draw monsters to life and steal children by drawing them.
And send children to the realm.
Yep. So, because an alien wants to make friends. A race
of spore, tiny little microscopic, like little itty-bitty aliens. One of them got lost, and the whole thing is that they're all but family and staying together.
And
so
he's all alone.
He's all alone. So,
and you find a lonely girl who's also alone, even though she has her mum.
And so, like any sensible kind of thing, instead of getting its spaceship and leaving, the tiny little spore alien decides to make this girl miserable and everyone around her miserable.
And bring everyone to her and make her own family through drawing.
So trigger warning for abusive parents?
Yes, abusive father mostly.
Abusive father mostly. I mean, the mom is not bad, I just didn't want to make it specific to parents, to dads. And also... Welcome back to another great episode of Black Families Have to Be Broken. There can't be joy in a black family in Doctor Who.
No, they have a very traumatic
past. They all have to be broken families, it's true.
This episode's okay.
This episode...
Literally the best thing about this episode was back in the day, the possibility that David Tennant would carry the torch,
and that everyone would disappear in this day.
2012 Olympics.
So, as someone who only knew Doctor Who from what I could catch from the cultural zeitgeist, I knew, I was watching this episode, I'm like, is this the one with the 2012 Olympics? This is the... And in my brain, I'm like, didn't David Tennant actually walk with the torch?
We looked it up. He did not. There was just a TARDIS sound.
Yeah, there was a TARDIS sound. Apparently they had a whole segment with the Doctor planned. But J.K. Rowling reading Peter Pan apparently took priority, so there's that. Thanks, J.K.
Good old JK.
Oh, good old JK.
They didn't know.
Retroactively ruining things.
Yeah, it's fine.
She was always bad. We just didn't know that.
We just didn't know.
Anyhow, so the thing about this episode, I like Rose solving the problem. Yes. I like that.
I like her finding the little alien spaceship, knowing where to go.
I do.
Actually, because the Doctor gets
the Doctor gets sent to the Shadow Realm. So the issue
that
I have. So the issue that I have with this is that there isn't much sci-fi in this episode, and this is ultimately, and maybe this is just just shows my bias, but it's an episode about trying to convince a child to not destroy the world.
Yeah. A child infected with an alien that also wants to just, and also absorb the world.
No offense, but child actors are very much hit and miss, and I don't feel like this girl did a really good job.
No, I feel like her best performance was her laying on the bed, whispering.
Yeah.
I felt like that was, the best part of her acting.
And no offense, again.
She's just a child.
Yeah, what's she supposed to do?
Yeah.
But, to me, whenever... And this is kind of like the fairies episode from fucking Torchwood, where the whole plot depends around the child.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the point where it really feels like, oh yeah, this is all make-believe, this is all made up. This is like David Tennant is in a studio talking to a child.
Yeah.
And that really showcases
it breaks your
that.
immersion.
And like I like the idea of the tiny little spore aliens,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
how they're, you know, they traverse space together. Like I like all that. I found it to be really cute.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kind of touching in some ways.
It is. It's ultimately about a child, though. So, like, we have the doctor trying to convince a mom to just, like, not let the child draw, and then
in the end, like, you know, all the drawings came back, including her abusive father that she drew in the closet for some reason. And oh no, this one's not real. Let's save the day by singing.
Fuck! You reminded me about that.
I know.
And probably my favorite thing about this episode, other than Rose being good. And that one, like, social worker, not social worker, but that construction worker was nice. I
liked him.
He was fun.
He was fun.
I liked him.
He was good.
Because I feel like he is the
straight man that walked into the Doctor Who episode.
You need a straight man in a Doctor Who episode to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
You can't do that. I just fixed that pothole.
It's like look at this fine work here. This is the finest pothole that I've ever filled up. It'd be a shame if
anything ever happened to it. Rose immediately with like a jackhammer.
I like that, and I like that he didn't like get shoved off. He followed.
No, he actually followed and
them,
was like invested in it.
And my second favorite part is the Doctor holding the Olympic torch and lighting the thingy.
Yeah, lighting the fire.
I actually like that. I thought that was kind of cool, and I hate that retroactively that didn't happen.
Yeah. That's about it for this episode. Yeah.
Is this episode worth watching? I don't think so.
Nah.
I actually and not even for the idea that like, oh, what if the Doctor had actually fucking?
Because we're in the future and we know he didn't. Like back then, it was like, yo.
But back then it was because this aired in 2006. So 6 years before.
Yeah. We didn't know.
I would have really liked David Tennant to actually carry the torch.
Yeah, but by then it was Matt Smith. So
yeah, I
think it must have been.
They should have still done David Tennant.
They should.
I feel so like biased because like, you know, I'm being an old person. That's what I'm doing. Because I'd look at Matt Smith and I'm like, nah,
yeah,
no.
Again, I like season 5, but I liked it back then. I don't know about going back to it. We'll see. We'll get there.
And then there's Oldman.
You cannot make me interested in that old man.
Like I've said, I gotta get up really early in the morning. Like we're talking like fucking like midnight. I gotta wake up. I gotta wake up at midnight to be excited about a old white guy leading a fucking science fiction show
with a young girl.
With the girl like a quarter of his age.
Yeah,
so,
it could literally be his granddaughter.
Yeah. So you know, there's that, and the unfortunate implication that
there may be something more.
Some romance. I got. Old man, young girl, I sleep.
Billy Piper, I wake. Anyway, let's talk about the finale.
We're fucking millennials. How dare we make that joke like we're Zoomers or something?
You know, we're still in the meme zeitgeist. You and me.
Are we?
Mostly.
Are we, lady?
We catch it a few weeks late.
Are we?
Hey, I'm on Twitter.
I'm not on Twitter. But you're not on TikTok.
I'm not.
You know who hangs out on Twitter? Millennials.
Shit. Let's talk about the finale. Episode 12, Army of Ghosts, and Episode 13, Doomsday, written by Russell T Davies, which originally aired July 1st and July 8th of 2006. We're in the season finale, boys! And
here we go. This season finale begins by the Doctor and Rose going back to modern
Rose's
timeline.
Current timeline, London.
And they learn that ghosts have been appearing all over the place, for 1 hour in the day.
For minutes at a specific hour at a specific locations and stuff.
So people believe that this is like ghosts from the spirit realm, and Jackie's excited.
It's been a few months, so there's already ghost TV shows.
Yeah, there's ghost TV shows, and there's
dramas with ghosts.
Yeah, you know, there's it's 90 Day Fiance featuring a ghost,
basically. And Jackie's very excited because she thinks it's her dad.
Yeah, her dad. Yeah, but it's not ghosts. In fact, Torchwood
is the one. Torchwood, the big agency we've been building up this whole time of being I don't want to say the line from the Torchwood show, but arming the human race against the future.
The 21st century is when everything changes.
And you gotta be ready. Anyway.
We're gonna do that at the start of every episode.
Oh, God.
The Doctor ends up in the Torchwood facility and he
with
learns...
Jackie Tyler, which is one of my favorite bits.
That was so good.
That was so good. I love Jackie.
Again, I love situations in which you turn things on their head. You subvert our expectations, and we have Doctor plus Rose, and now we have Doctor plus Jackie together.
Yeah,
it's so hilarious. But in this facility, we learn that Torchwood has basically been using the rift, like basically this split in between dimensions,
right in the middle of well, there's one in the middle of Cardiff, but I think there's one in London where they are.
Yeah, there's also one in London. So they're using this to basically generate energy, and
what they don't realize is that they're splintering the rift every time they open that.
And this is a rift between the reality that we know and the reality from episode 5 and 6, the reality that has Cybermen. So we eventually learned that the ghosts that we've been seeing aren't actually ghosts. They're in fact Cybermen
invading this world. And also they have a strange orb that is just kind of in the basement.
Oh fuck!
So
I forgot about
don't forget about the orb. But they're basically like, okay, so the orb has something to do with it. Turns out the orb is completely unrelated, actually.
Yeah, in fact, it is indeed completely unrelated. And as Cybermen pour in through the gap in the dimension and start invading Earth,
we get the best moment where like, you know, Rose comes into the room with the orb, and then like we see like random dude, and then Mickey's there too, and we're like, it's Mickey.
Oh my!
We were so high.
I pogged out of my goddamn mind. I was like, "That's my boy!
That's our boy!
That's my boy!" I was so fucking I cannot explain in words just how excited I was to see Mickey again. Because in my brain I went, they found a way in. They found a way back.
That means our boy's still here. Our boy.
God, I love Mickey so much. He is so fucking good.
I fucking love Mickey.
Oh god, this is a good season finale in spite of all the bad episodes that led up to this.
You know, we'll talk about next season anyway.
We'll talk about next season when we get there. But a fun fact, in Army of Ghosts, there's a bunch of office workers, people that are working for Torchwood, and in there is the actress who will later play Martha Jones.
It's Freema Agyeman?
Yeah, Freema Agyeman.
Yeah.
And
they explain why she's there.
They do. But it's weird because, like, do you feel that, like, Donna was supposed to be in season 3, but then something came up for Catherine Tate?
It's quite possible, to be honest.
Because I hate to say it like this, but Martha feels so shoehorned in.
Unfortunately.
And it's a waste.
It's a travesty.
Because Martha was such a good, different build.
Archetype, essentially.
Different archetype for a companion, and we're almost done with that season, and I'll tell you right now, she's been fucking wasted.
Yeah.
But anyhow, her actress is in here.
Shows up as a different character who gets turned into a Cyberman.
As her cousin. But anyhow, this episode actually has a lot of importance for Torchwood as well.
It's true. This episode builds up a lot for the Torchwood season.
And I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked the Torchwood lady, Yvonne. I was great. I was hoping she would come back for Torchwood, but she dies.
She dies. But not before she says, I did my duty.
Yeah.
A couple of times and shoots a bunch of Cybermen.
Yeah.
Okay, so this episode ends with basically just everything going to shit. Does
the sphere open?
The sphere opens as they're opening the rift. As all the Cybermen come pouring in, the sphere opens, revealing the cult of Skaro, 4 Daleks who were taught to imagine.
Basically, that's your battle royale quad group who's been basically ratting inside of a house for the entire game, and they come out
the entirety of the Time War.
The entirety of the Time War happens, and those guys were hiding in a closet.
Yeah, basically,
and they come out and they're like, "We are the cult of Skaro.
We have names. We are Dalek with names."
Yeah. So, in case you haven't been keeping track, the finale of this season involves Cybermen coming from another dimension and the Daleks. So, of course, there's also another thing that was inside of the time sphere, or whatever.
Oh,
that was
something.
It was spoilers. It's a time prison for a bunch of Daleks. So of course we have a million.
They open
Daleks.
The floodgates. There's millions more Daleks.
So we have that to look forward to. This episode, this 2-season finale, of course, also has a gift set that I saw many times in the past, and I like it, and that's probably the one reason. Well, one of the reasons why I'm okay with there being Cybermen and Dalek.
Yeah.
Because one, I don't know if those two forces actually came together at any point during the original Doctor Who series?
I imagine not, because like I feel like this was a big deal to see these two iconic villains actually like battle and have that nerd question of like who would win, a million Cybermen or 4 Daleks.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward for in the comments Doctor Who fan 1982 telling us how is it that we're completely wrong and we just don't understand Doctor Who as a concept.
Yeah.
But I love that exchange between the Dalek, one of the Daleks and the Cyberman. It's like Cybermen are superior in only one way.
What is that?
You are superior at dying.
Oh,
and then
burn!
we get that meme gift of like.
Hey, that turned out to be true. Daleks were kicking their asses for a while there.
And I feel like that's like slightly the problem of Dalek. That's not like Dalek as an antagonist is this basically indestructible thing.
Yeah, literally.
And I don't. It's weird, right? Because it's strong and it's powerful, but I feel like there's only so many ways you can defeat Doomsday. I'll just say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
The DC antagonist,
not the name of this episode.
I mean, like I guess I'll just like there's only so many ways to kill Superman, by which I mean one.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess there's two, but anyhow, whatever. This is not a superhero podcast. Thank God. Fucking God.
I don't want to watch those DC movies. We watched Wonder Woman, and that was enough.
I used to have a bigger background in comics, and even like back when I read a lot of comics, I was just like, Superman is the most boring possible character ever. More boring than Batman, so there's that. Anyhow.
Drink some coffee.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a sip of my coffee. So.
Anyway, so we get the Battle of Canary Wharf, which is where they are. I love that this is a moment in history that gets referenced again and again, which I really like. They build their own like history that's not around actual historical events.
And I like that because it makes it feel as though the events of the season are actually building up and like things matter, and we're not just gonna start in season 3 and no one's gonna remember any of this.
Yeah.
And I like that for the Christmas special they kind of play with
they play with that.
It's like, don't you remember when Cybermen invaded?
The big old war. I was in Spain.
There were Cybermen in Spain.
I was scuba diving. It's so fucking good.
Wow, can you believe there's a good episode coming up after this? But anyhow, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday. How is the Doctor going to fix the problem? Well, the ultimate plan ends up being to use the device that Torchwood was using to open up the rift to suck everyone back in. Basically,
yeah.
Suck everyone. Oh, and okay.
The 3D glasses.
So cultural zeitgeist. Just like I thought that the 9th Doctor was all about bananas and saying fantastic, I thought that the 10th Doctor was all about saying Alonzi and wearing 3D glasses. But
this is the first time he says Alonzi in this episode.
Yeah, I feel like it takes a whole season for him to say Alonzi, and for him to like and I do like this, okay?
Yes.
And I have to clarify this because I know someone in the comments is like, Max usually hates very specific things that are not explained right away, and that's true.
That's right.
And like
they played with it though.
The Doctor's wearing 3D glasses for most of these 2 episodes, and it's weird, it's quirky, but I was like, okay, when is this gonna get explained? And this gets explained in the middle of Doomsday in the second episode, and I feel that the way that it was presented rocked it, like just knocked it out of the park.
It was great
because the Doctor's wearing the glasses, and then he's like, all right. Aren't you all gonna ask what the glasses are for?
And then the entire audience is like, yes.
Yeah, and I feel that it's in part because no one asked about them before, which made it a little bit infuriating, but it was part of the joke. It's when you feel that Russell T. Davies wrote this and went, okay, by now the viewers are tired of looking at the glasses.
It's been an episode and a half. They must want to know what it's about.
And the Doctor plays with it and is like, don't you guys want to know what the glasses are about?
And then Rose, being as enthusiastic and cheery as ever, is like, yeah, tell me.
Yeah, and then he explains it. Again, I feel like if that reveal had lasted until like the last 10 minutes, I would have hated it.
Would have been kind
but the fact that like it got explained at the perfect moment for that. And of course, we learned that everyone who's been traversing the worlds has basically these like alternate rift energy around them.
Particles, basically, that, linger with them.
Yeah, and in order to fix the rift, everything that is basically carrying this energy is going to get sucked back into the other timeline.
Well, it's actually just going to get sucked back into the void, I think?
No, it's into the other timeline.
No, it's not into the other timeline. It's into the dead space, basically.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
So, now this is a slight problem, because the people who, by the way, Mickey
and Pete.
And Jake.
And Jake. Forgot about Jake.
And Jake, and Rose's dad from another timeline. They're all here. But, and including the Doctor, and Jackie's fine, but
Jackie's fine.
But all of them have this energy around them, which means that when they open up the void rift to suck everyone in, it's gonna suck them in as well.
Yeah.
So the solution that ends up being for this particular problem. Oh, and by the way, there's a bit of a moment between Jackie and Pete.
Where, Jackie from his timeline is dead and Pete from her timeline is dead, and they're like, oh, we're not the same as like, how rich are you? I don't care about that. How rich? So fucking. I love Jackie and Pete. They're both great.
And again, please do not take our omission of certain events and lines in this episode to mean that we didn't care about those things. There's a lot of good Jackie moments in these episodes. So good. A lot of really good Mickey moments and a lot of really good Rose moments because this is the culmination of their storyline.
Including Pete as well, yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there. So basically, everyone from this timeline goes to the other timeline.
Yeah.
And
so they're safe there because the rift isn't going to activate over there.
And Rose and the Doctor decide to open up the rift to suck all of the Daleks and the Cybermen out of
the Doctor is like, you should go with them, you're going to get sucked in too.
But they need two people to close the door.
Yeah.
They need to hit the levers on both sides.
Yeah. And she says, I'm not leaving.
And of course, in perfect dramatic fashion, Rose starts to get sucked in. And she's about to like basically let go of the handle and get sucked into the dark void. Mm-hmm. At which point Pete comes in at the very last second.
Comes back from the timeline, uses his little transporter that can go between the worlds, grabs her and brings him back. So that way Rose is safe, but she's stuck in the other timeline.
Yeah.
Never able to see the Doctor again.
Yeah, because the rift is completely closed. The path between both dimensions is completely sealed forever. And then we get the wall, which I knew about the wall.
You knew about the wall.
Yeah.
That's because everybody puts the gifts together.
Yeah.
Which is, they're never together at any point. It's like one screen, then the other screen. And they're both leaning against the wall because that was the connection between the two worlds.
Yeah.
Rose is just sobbing. The Doctor is very sad as well. And they're just, feeling each other against the wall, essentially. Or, wanting to feel each other against the wall.
So the Doctor manages to fix the problem in the end.
Yes, but losing Rose in the process.
And at this point, we actually just follow Rose in the other timeline.
Which I really like.
I feel, again... That's the move that you make when you realize this is the end of her story. We have to just show, like... Mm-hmm.
This is the story of how I died.
This is called the payoff, everybody. Mm-hmm. So we follow Rose in the other timeline. Of course, she's heartbroken. She's sad.
She starts getting dreams about the Doctor, telling her to do things.
And she basically travels across the world trying to find him. And she realizes that the Doctor has been leading her to a particular spot in the world where the rift is still repairing.
Yeah, it's not quite fully sealed yet.
So he has, 10 seconds to talk to her.
It's a minute,
A minute to talk to her.
They catch up and she's... I like the little fake out where she's like, oh, there's going to be another Tyler. And then he's like, oh, so you... No, it's my mum.
Yeah, it's my mum.
It's me mum. And he's like, oh.
So during this last exchange, they talk about their feelings, basically.
But we forgot.
Well.
Where they ended up. It was in Norway, I think, and it translates to Bad Wolf Bay.
Yes, Bad Wolf Bay.
Because culmination of Rose.
Thank you.
This is all the culmination.
And of course, there's a heartbreaking moment at the end where the communications break just before the Doctor can actually,
Yeah, she says, "I love you,"
and before he can say, "I love you" back.
He says, "Oh, Rose Tyler, and then it fades out. And then he never actually says it when he gets back. You just see the single tear run down his face.
Yeah. And with that, we have Rose, Mickey, Jackie, and Pete left over in the alternate dimension. And I really, really like this.
Yeah.
Not only because, check out the boxes, Jackie did something. Mickey did something. Pete did something amazing. And I'm getting fucking chills.
Right.
I love the cyclical nature to the fact that Rose saved her. Rose was there for her dad in the original... I'm about to cry.
I know.
In the other timeline, she was there for her dad, but in this, and the culmination of the events, her dad is there for her, to save her, to give her a second chance.
Yeah, exactly.
A second chance at a normal life. And Mickey's there, and Jackie's there, and this wraps up so neatly that most of the time when a story tries to wrap up this neatly, it leaves a lot of loose ends, and it feels incomplete, or it feels rushed, and in this instance, it feels great.
It's just so perfectly designed and presented that it really does feel like the culmination of and the end of Rose's story. Yeah,
and not only Rose, but
everyone involved in Rose's life.
And I feel like this is something that sometimes writers forget about. That is a character's personal plot is not just them themselves alone in this world; it's the people around them as well.
Yeah,
and it felt to me that we did not only get to see Mickey become a cool, amazing person, but we also got Rose finally having a family again.
Yeah,
and we got Jackie actually having
someone, a partner, someone that she loves again.
Yeah, like
getting to see Pete like kind of letting go of his like his. Because he, in that world, he had been like this crazy businessman, but also a spy, and kind of getting to step back and be like, he could be a normal person.
Yeah. And if you are watching Doctor Who seasons 1 and 2 as a complete story, it wraps up there.
Yeah.
And it wraps up neatly, almost too neatly, and that's why we have a bit of a stinger.
The little stinger.
I feel it takes away from the punch of Rose's story, but I understand
it certainly does.
I understand.
But they wanted it's fucking like 6 months until that episode.
So I
they
understand
something.
why, as a TV show, you have to have the lead into the next season.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that. But as someone who's analyzing the fiction of this episode, I gotta honestly tell you that it did take away a little bit from
because
the punch. Because
immediately after he's crying, we get the intro into the next episode.
Yeah,
basically. which is our lovely Catherine Tate.
Catherine Tate
in a wedding dress, being like, "What the hell am I doing here?
Why did you kidnap me?
Take
me back!
Where am I?"
And then just like,
what? Doctor Who will return for the Christmas episode. Blah, blah,
yeah.
blah.
Sorry, I'm emotionally overcome thinking about just Rose's conclusion. So Rose's, and I love that. In one way or in another, I like that we carry the repercussions of this event into the next season. I just wish that Martha Jones had gotten more than nothing.
Yeah.
But definitely, especially the next Christmas special, The Runaway Bride.
Yes, that one's great.
Again, watching season 1 and 2 as one thing, this is the end of the story, and I like how final it is.
Yes.
And that right there is the kind of thing that I really appreciate in fiction, where I can at least in my head go, and that was Rose's story, and it's not open, and we're not gonna have a prequel where Rose is a baby. That's done.
I'm smiling because I have told you that Rose comes back in a tiny capacity.
I to like a crossover episode, I think.
Essentially.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah.
And doesn't Jack come back?
Jack?
No, Jack Harkness.
Yes, he comes back in this season.
No, yeah, but like
in the season finale, he also the season finale of 4 is the big culmination of Tennant's arcs.
So
essentially.
and I know that the crossovers are a thing, a Doctor Who thing, and I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And here's fingers crossed that one cameo doesn't just completely ruin all the development that Rose got in this particular episode.
Yeah.
In these 2 seasons, I hope not. I really hope not. But For what this season is, this is a really strong ending.
It's so good. Because it gives us closure on not just Rose, not just, her family, but this part of the Doctor's life as well.
Yep. No, this is a really good set of episodes. And again, in a vacuum, these are really, 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 really good. Understanding the fact that there's more Doctor Who down the line, I have to completely admit that this episode gets a little bit knocked down because
we're back to the Daleks.
Because I'm tired of fucking Cybermen and fucking Dalek. And I get even more tired because it's not 4 episodes after this the Daleks come back.
Mm-hmm.
And in the worst possible capacity. And
so bad.
And I have to just I know I keep saying this, you guys, okay? And I feel like I'm going crazy. But I just wish the Daleks were either like a new Dalek shows up and it's like a different Dalek that does something different.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that because at least we're doing something else.
That's what they kind of try to do with the Cult of Skaro, but again,
except they're just the same fucking Daleks.
They're the same Daleks, but they have the power to imagine.
Yeah, can you
imagine?
Can you imagine them doing anything other than just being Daleks? We will talk about Daleks in Brooklyn, Manhattan. We'll talk about Daleks in Brooklyn. I'm walking over here.
I am walking over here.
Anyhow, and Cybermen are these are just indestructible alien entities that can kill you with one blast.
Just big old tanks with no emotion.
Yeah, and to me, this is like, imagine if the Warhammer 40k universe was all just Space Marines.
God.
Because that's what it is. Everyone is a Space Marine. In the Rogues Gallery of Doctor Who villains are all just Space Marines. So just big, beefy, metallic walking tanks.
Yeah.
And
that's, back in the day, that was saved on budget.
That's all you had to do to be an antagonist, just be a big...
emotionless, beefy tank.
But I need more than that.
And we'll get some... But again, the Daleks need to stay there.
And I gotta back up for a minute.
Uh-huh.
I am willing to let episode 12 and 13, Army of Ghosts and Doomsday.
You're willing to let it slide.
I'm gonna let it slide. We're gonna do the tier list after this, which is gonna come out tomorrow for you guys. Mm-hmm. And I'll probably be more favorable towards that.
Yeah.
But let's just be entirely honest that after this instance, every time that Cybermen or Daleks come back, I'm immediately asleep.
Yeah.
I sleep. I'm immediately just
tuned out.
I am tuned out. And it isn't that we're binge watching this season. We're watching an episode every day.
Yeah.
And I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
I'm burnt out on Daleks and Cybermen.
And we've had like 5 episodes with them, and that's enough.
That's enough.
Don't worry, 2 more are coming.
So I need you to understand that, like, from here on in the future for tier list and for episodes, this is my stance. That I'm already tired of these antagonists.
Yeah.
So there is that. Other than that, fucking fantastic episodes.
That's a plumbing truck. Interesting. Anyway, yeah, great episodes. Let's talk briefly. We've actually really been talking about it.
But you want to hit me with the big questions?
Is this, of the 2 seasons we've watched, is this your favorite?
That's tough, isn't it? Because there's mixed bags in this season.
Yes.
We have The Girl in the Fireplace, which is...
It's terrible.
It's bad. It's almost as bad as... Okay. Human Nature is probably the worst episode. No, it is the worst episode we've ever seen. But The Girl in the Fireplace is almost there.
It's getting there.
Had there been racism in The Girl in the Fireplace,
they would have been right up there.
They would be tied.
Yeah.
Rise of Cybermen, good. The Age of Steel, good. The Idiot's Lantern,
boring.
Impossible Planet and the Satan's Spit, but then we have Love and Monsters and Fear Her. I think the season is a mixed bag, and it's unfortunate because all of the excitement of watching the first season and watching Doctor Who for the first time has definitely tempered a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm not as, my eyes are not as filled with, childlike wonder as they used to be, mostly because I've gotten into the rhythm of what Russell T Davies' Doctor Who feels like. Mm-hmm. And that's not inherently a bad thing.
No.
The show is consistent.
For the most part.
There hasn't been an episode where I'm like, this is not even a Doctor Who episode.
Right. They do things like that, but it's still a Doctor Who episode.
And even Love and Monsters is still a Doctor Who episode, even if there's, 5% Doctor in it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, do I think this season is the best one yet? I don't think so. Mm-hmm. But this has some bangers in it. Mm-hmm. The Impossible Planet plus Satan Pit is fucking amazing. The season finale is really good. Mm-hmm. This is a season to definitely watch abridged for sure.
Yeah. There's episodes you can cut in this one. Yeah. And in the last season there wasn't as many to really cut. I don't know. Yeah. Did we have any? We were because even The Unquiet Dead still has implications for later. Yeah. Oh, the fucking long game can kiss my ass.
Yeah, the long game.
And Boomtown's okay, but it kind of sets up stuff. So again, last season didn't have it. It was rough, but it was cohesive.
And I guess it's weird for me because, again, the Doctor in my mind has been Tennant forever, mm-hmm. even before I watched Doctor Who, because of just the cultural zeitgeist and being those those years in Tumblr were all just,
It was all David Tennant.
Yeah, and Hulock, remember fucking...
Super Hulock.
Sorry for cursing you by just invoking those words.
Yes.
But, David Tennant was in the back of my life, I guess, and you talked about Doctor Who, and, you bought books full of essays about Doctor Who.
Oh, I love that. I have an essay full of...
a book full of essays of Doctor Who.
Thank you. I have a book full of essays about Doctor Who and the relationship with queer people. That's a great book, by the way.
We should read that.
Oh, it's
I should reread it. Or you should reread it, and I should read it for the first time. But, Tennant is the Doctor in the back of my mind, and I really like Eccleston. I really like Eccleston because it really feels like it's I don't want to say it's a dark spin on a character that but it's definitely
it's a different take.
Here's a different take, and he's dressed with a leather jacket.
He's more modern,
and he's wearing a fucking black t-shirt, and he's wearing jeans, and he's kind of goofy, and he's
goofy but serious, and
and I really really like Eccleston. I really do, and I was wondering what Tennant would feel like, and he is different. But now, having had more time to watch him, I actually feel that it takes a little bit for Tennant to actually come into the flow.
Step into his shoes, essentially.
I literally think that it's the runaway bride. Mm-hmm. I feel like that, it feels like it took a season for Tennant to actually really find his own,
grounding, essentially.
His own grounding.
Yeah, no, totally. Because, there's the part of that episode, we'll talk about it at some point. I don't know when in the future this comes out when we talk about season 3.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the moment in the episode where you see that serious side of him, that side that, just lost Rose and is kind of dealing with that. Really kind of defines that part of his character that we get to see a lot of in season 3, for better and for worse.
For better or for worse. And I definitely, I don't want, this is not to say anything about Tennant as an actor,
no,
but because you have to realize that there's David Tennant as the actor, but there's also the 10th Doctor as the character that he's portraying.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely feel it's not so much Tennant. I should back that off.
Tennant's portrayal as Russell
T. Davis as the lead writer for this season, and defining what the 10th Doctor should be like.
Yeah.
And it definitely takes a little bit of time for him to come into his full.
Yeah, no, I feel like season 4 will really be David Tennant just, like, completely owning his own role as the Doctor.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm tired. It hasn't even been that long.
It's been a long last 16 years.
Yep.
in self-isolation.
Right. But no, like, in season 4, I feel like from what I remember, it's got a lot of bangers, and you'll really feel him step into his own role.
I'm looking forward to it, and I never want to make it feel as though I haven't been enjoying the Doctor.
Yeah.
In fact, if anything, Human Nature in season 3 is the episode that I've disliked the least because
the most.
No, I honestly feel like if there's a complete stark contrast between like Impossible Planet Tennant and Sit and Spit Tennant, and then Human Nature Tennant, where like to me it legitimately feels like he's like phoning it in, because he's like, this character that was given to me in the script sucks, and it's literally like
boring.
It's
like,
boring,
not what I portray as the Doctor.
Like, maybe I'm just projecting my own feelings onto David Tennant here, but it legitimately feels like he's uncomfortable doing this role, or he's just like, all right, I'll just be a racist asshole, I guess.
Let those children beat that other child up. No biggie.
I guess I will. I will continue to uphold the values of colonialism, I guess,
and toxic male masculinity.
Yeah. Like, we'll talk about Human Nature when we get there, but to me, it felt like wasted opportunity. But anyhow,
season 2,
it's not a bad season.
No,
because that's 3. But this is definitely, there's a lot of really strong episodes, and I wonder how much of my love for season 1 is watching Doctor Who for the first time. I wonder, if someone had watched season 2 for the first time, I wonder how much they would like it. That was their first
season.
But then again, I can't turn off my biases. I'm a biased person. I'm a human being with likes and dislikes.
You have human nature.
I have a.
Sorry about the dogs in the background if you can hear that. Probably not. But...
Probably not with the noise reduction that we use. But anyhow, I'm gonna say that just because this season serves as the climactic conclusion to Rose's storyline, and also because of the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit, this is a good season.
This is probably your favorite?
It's hard. Because to me, it's hard, especially my own particular biases, because you're asking me to
pick your favorite two children.
No, you're asking me to forgive all the bad episodes in season 2 by calling this season as a whole good. There's really good episodes in this season. And there's really good episodes in season 1, and there's, some that are here or there. I think that the best episodes in this season are definitely worth watching, even out of context.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't mean, definitely of all the stuff that we've seen, and take this as it may, this is a really good second place.
Yeah.
This is a really good second place. I feel like I still like season 1 the most so far.
I agree.
And I know that you wanted me to say that, and I struggled to come around to just admitting it.
No.
But I really like Eccleston.
I love Eccleston.
I really like Eccleston, and because it takes a while for Tennant to come into the full 10th Doctor.
I mean, it literally takes a whole episode for him to get out of his fucking PJs.
Like, I really, and I miss Eccleston having, like, this, like, the ways in which he would lash out that really would make you feel that this is just a man, this is a person, a survivor of war, who's just barely holding on.
Barely holding everything in.
And he's just... And not an adrenaline junkie, but he's just like, let's just distract ourselves from the fact that ultimately I'm the last person remaining. I'm alone in the universe, and I will always be alone. Even when I have these temporary companions, I will always be alone.
I will always end up alone.
And whenever the instant that his a wax paper thin confidence breaks up. He's angry and he's furious and he lashes out because he's full of all this anger and frustration at the fact that
yes, ultimately they won the time war. But at what cost?
But at what cost? And to me, there's still so much there that I wish had been explored. And again, the fact that I can't go on a rant about that about Tennant's 10th Doctor as it is, I guess I like one best. I like season 1 the best. And you know what? I guess I'm a fucking coward. So there you go.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know,
that's
so
fine.
Far. Maybe the 3rd season will turn it around. And I will love Tennant.
Okay, well, so do you think Eccleston is your favorite Doctor so far? I'm asking you the hard questions.
And I like that. You know, throw me all the hard balls. I don't want to, because what I hate about our human nature is that, like, if you're not the first place, you're the last place. And I mean,
there's only 2 right now, so one's first and one's last.
But I hate that, like, by me saying that I like Eccleston, it means that Tennant is bad. I don't think Tennant is bad. No. And there's a lot of Tennant, and Tennant is good. There's still a lot more Tennant. And my favorite Tennant thing, and I'll tell you right now, my favorite Tennant thing is when he just spews technobabble. He is amazing at spewing technobabble. He's amazing at just going, and I don't know how the fuck. I don't know,
like breakneck speed to the point in which like Catherine Tate has to slap him out of it.
Like, I don't know if Tennant just has amazing memory, or if he's just making the shit up as he goes, or. I don't know what. I don't know how he does it, but his ability to spew technobabble. There are times when I'm watching the scenes and I'm like, are there any cuts? And I'm like, this one shot has been going for like a whole minute, and then he spews a technobabble. How many times do they do that take?
Right.
Where he's speaking for like 20 straight seconds of technobabble without stumbling. How many takes did it take? It's times like that where I guess I look at it as a TV show that gets produced.
Yeah.
That I'm like, how does Tennant do that? And he's charming.
He's very charming.
And he is the Doctor. I don't want to make anyone feel like I think he's doing a bad job.
Not at all.
But there's just, and maybe I'm a sucker for the potentiality of things.
Right.
That's why I sometimes prefer things being left up into interpretation in some cases, because it's better to
get to imagine.
It's better to ask, man, I wonder what the Clone Wars were. You know, I wonder what Obi-Wan Kenobi was saying when he was like about the Clone Wars, and then you learn about the Clone Wars.
And then we have the prequel.
And then you go, oh.
You're right. I should have just imagined it.
You're right. That is, what was the thing? There was a thing that we reviewed or something. Oh, you know what? It's the end of Evangelion. The end of, like, the episode 26.
Yeah.
Episode 25 and 26 of Evangelion. Excuse me, Evan's Gay Lion. Evan's Gay Lion.
Evangelion.
I actually really like those episodes because...
Yeah. Looking back on it, we've come very much around.
The version of the end day, of the Humanity Project, whatever, that I saw in my head was way cooler and way more interesting than the version
what we got
in the movie.
End of Evangelion.
And I'm like, maybe... Okay, there's no way for me to say this without sounding like an asshole, and you already hate me, so I'll just tell you. Maybe some people just... Maybe it's just because I have this imagination, and because I'm a creative person and a writer, that in my head, the version that I saw was really cool and interesting.
And then seeing it,
and then the reality, I'm like, oh, that's
lame.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's super nothing. Like, why does the Ava 1 have wings now? Why is there? Why? And it's this thing where I'm like, sometimes I would rather you don't show me everything.
Yeah.
So that I can at least, it's the thing where, like, when you don't show the monster in a horror movie, it's scarier because you
can imagine, like, the horrors, because it's one of those things, like, budget can only do so much.
Yeah, budget can only do so much.
And especially in, like, bigger, like, Hollywood-made movies, it has to adhere to certain, like, guidelines, either by ratings or just technical, know-how or imagination.
Like, imagine all the people who were terrified watching Alien in the movie theater. Mm-hmm. Versus the people who were watching Aliens, where
mowing down aliens.
No, by then there were like action figures, and you could buy a poster with the xenomorph in it.
Yeah,
like it's one of those things where, like, as soon as you know what the xenomorph looks like, it's less scary.
Yeah,
and maybe another example could be like the creatures in Amnesia, where, like, you're not supposed to look at them.
You're not actually supposed to see them.
So it's scarier.
Yeah,
because our human brains are amazing at making things worse in our imaginations than they actually are.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why, like, I feel that, like, and maybe this is, again, this has to be me because it's my biases, but I really like Eccleston because there was all this other potential in there.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I can imagine that being fuel for character ideas because there's just so much there. And it's left there on the table, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just like the idea of a With Love and Monsters, where like a version of that episode where it's instead about a character who wants to get revenge on the Doctor. That's a good story idea right there. Wink, wink, looking at you, the listener. You should write it.
Just write it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, fucking take it. They didn't use it. Take it.
You got any more hard balls?
Honestly, I think those are the hardest balls I got.
I love playing with your hard balls.
I know you do. I love throwing you my hard balls.
Yeah. So, is there anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so. Because I want to talk more about like, your expectations going into Torchwood as we go into Torchwood rather than
Hell
here.
yeah.
So, I think we'll leave this episode at that, and we'll shoot the tier list in a sec.
So, in case you're wondering, the next episode won't be season 3 of Doctor Who. It will be Torchwood
because
instead.
That is chronologically what's next on the docket.
Yep. And honestly, get hyped because that's
a banger.
It's actually a banger.
Torchwood's good, man.
Torchwood.
And it's not just because Jack Harkness is there, although that helps.
Though that helps a lot. But honestly, get excited for that. Tomorrow we will have the tier list go up on the same channel. So get excited for that. And if you have enjoyed listening to us, please consider leaving a like. It tells the YouTube algorithm to show this to more people. It literally helps.
It actually
literally
engagement
does.
actually helps
it
push
actually
videos
helps.
around.
And
so comment.
And if you want to say, hey,
you guys suck.
Hey, you guys suck, or hey, you guys made me check out Doctor Who, or like, well, wow, I completely forgot about the glory hole in Love and Monsters.
Just leave a comment. Let
us know, and follow us on all the social media platforms. You know what to do. You've been here before. You've been on YouTube, but definitely, at the end of all this, thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to this big old long podcast.
Thank you for making us part of your day. And we hope that we can continue to be a podcast that you listen to, and that the next time that it comes up, you get excited for it. Yeah. That's my favorite thing. When a podcast
when
I like
a new
comes
episode
up.
comes out, and you're like, hell yeah.
We hope that we can be that. But until next time, thank you for listening.
Yeah, and we will see you for the tier list, and then for Torchwood Season 1.
Yeah!
21st century is when everything changes.
And you gotta be ready.
Huh, Yanto? Yanto's named after a character in Torchwood.